Yo, what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 169. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and I'm joined by Emilio Lopez. Chris Seeley. Carlos Romero. Brian Manjoma. And that's Adam Vale talking, you know. Yeah, I have no idea what they're talking about. They're like the halftime show. You're talking about like Monster Hunter halftime show? I don't know.
On the game. So every time an athlete in Madden gets selected, the season afterwards, something just bad happens every time. It's guaranteed.
Injuries, firings, all kinds. You name it, the shit happens. And these are people at the top of their game that they get put. So it's not like, oh yeah, they're falling off and then they got this cover. Nope, they're tippity top, and some screwed up shit happens. And this year, yesterday, we had what you call it? Oh my god, I'm blanking out. Tom Brady cut his hand. He cut his hand during a play. Guy hit him with the helmet and it sliced his hand, and it was like, oh, he's okay. He got this brace thing on his hand. Oh, fucking horrible. And they lost.
Yeah, I want to quickly apologize to the people. I forgot to unmute the guys. Sorry.
Oh, well, we got to do it again.
Yeah, you want to do the intro again? We can.
We'll do it again. We'll do it again, and we'll cut the beginning off again.
You know what? So. Yeah, all right. Thank you for good idea, man. All right. What is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 169. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
What is thy bidding, my master?
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
Sunday.
Brian Manjoma.
Really, nigga?
And Adam Vale.
Patriots for life.
All right, there we go. Now we're back. By the way, listen to what Brian said. He never says that word. So, very special.
Wait. I got to do one more. Damn the Patriots.
You gotta say like Riku though, man.
Damn the Patriots.
All right, Shinobi. This isn't a football. This isn't a gaming question, but we can answer. Are you happy the Eagles won the Super Bowl? I don't care. I don't know who played. Like,
no, I'm not happy.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm bitter. I got bitter face on. You can't.
You want to hear something? You guys want to hear something hilarious? So, me and Jossie do not. My girlfriend.
I do not. You do not watch the kicker ball.
We do not watch it, but we live in Pennsylvania. But we live in Pennsylvania. So what happens? As soon as it happened,
everyone's
fucking fireworks, people screaming. We're out in,
man.
We're not in the sticks, but we're out there, and everybody's like, "Woo!" Yeah.
Yo, man, they won that game.
Well, they haven't. This is one that they've never won, so they got it, and we'll be damn do for them. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, kicker ball. I don't know about any of that shit. All right, man. So let's get right into it with some questions. And if you guys are joining us live, we would appreciate you asking us some questions. We're a little light on questions tonight for whatever reason. I think everybody's just playing Monster Hunter.
All right. If a bus leaves Chicago heading eastward at 45 miles an hour.
Yeah, I hated those type of questions. I could never get them. I'm not good at math.
On the SAT, they had a lot of those type of questions.
All right. Barry Burns says, unless I'm getting a free Philly cheesesteak out of this Super Bowl, I don't care. Heh. All right. First question from G Megaforce. Okay, is Kaz Hirai stepping down as CEO of Sony really a big deal, or are fanboys making this shit way bigger than it has to be? I think you just answered your own question.
You answered your own question. The fanboys are making that more than it needs to be. Really, the guy who's replacing Kaz Hirai is essentially one of the other people responsible for making Sony a Sony, not Sony PlayStation, but Sony a profitable company. It's essentially just cutting the fat. All the bullshit shit that Sony used to make, they don't make them anymore.
Yeah, and Kaz Hirai, what he said was that basically his whole goal when he became the president was to make Sony profitable again. He met that goal, so he's stepping down. He's still associated with the company. He's not going away, and he's still going to be in control for the following year. It's going to take place. Yeah.
he's getting like a higher position than what he had.
Yeah,
Okay.
Chris, what is chairman? Because that's the only part I'm kind of iffy on. What is his position now?
Well, I guess he takes over as head of the board of directors of Sony. So when they make board decisions or they have votes on things, like he would be the deciding votes or whether to bring things. So when a company's public, like you have a CEO who's in charge of the overall corporate structure, right? But you also answer to a board of directors, which basically takes into account the shareholders' wishes and all that stuff.
It's like the hand.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah. So he's gonna be sitting on the board of Sony, but he's handing off that CEO responsibility, the executive officer who signs off on like everybody's pension and everybody's paycheck. Oh, he has to think of all that stuff as well as major decisions, but he can't do it. A CEO can't do anything unless the board approves it, right? So and again, so you don't have one person making every single decision at Sony. So he's going to be the head of that.
yeah, Tony. You want to remember the power structure of companies isn't necessarily a pyramid. This is everybody too, not just Tony. Power structures of these companies isn't a pyramid. It would be this weird kind of shape that I don't even know how to explain. You have everybody who works for a boss, 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 who works for a boss. That goes all the way to the top until you have your CEO. But then, as Chris said, your CEO then reports to your board of directors, and your board of directors then report to your shareholders, and your shareholders are essentially your customers, or your shareholders report to your customers, and then the whole cycle starts over again. So I've often said it's kind of weird because everybody thinks like, oh, the minute you get to be your own boss, it's great. Well, no, the minute you get to be your own boss, everybody's your boss. It's a whole different thing. So
well, only if you have a publicly traded company.
yeah,
So
yeah, no, no.
yeah. So like Mike Bloomberg isn't publicly traded. He runs that shit. Like he makes every single decision. Like there's no board over him, you know? So that's an example of a big company that there's no board. There's just him. He's the president, CEO. He's king of Bloomberg, if you want to call it that, you know? But Sony doesn't have that structure. They answer to a board of directors. So Kaz Hirai, so one person cannot derail the company. It can't go hog wild and, you know, just make all sorts of bad decisions.
Oh, Tony, I know a good way to put it. Feudal times, right? So
Why are you explaining this to me though? That's what I don't get.
Because you said you didn't understand.
I didn't say that. I said I don't care. You know, I don't give a shit.
Well, no. You had asked about why this makes a difference, and like this is the equivalent of being a really good general leading an army and doing such a good job that they give you a title and land, and you now become a lord. Like you're like, I'm not gonna be a fucking general anymore. I'm a lord now. I tell the fucking generals what to do.
I'm glad you
more
bring
money,
up
less responsibility, more face.
I'm glad you bring that up because
reason.
Japanese feudal lords. I'm guessing some Japanese stuff is going on here. Hussein says that the power structure in Japan is a bit different. Chairman has a more powerful role historically. That's what I kind of suspected.
Kaz Hirai is now the daimyo
In
of
college,
Sony.
Hey, what's going on, Tanks?
Business.
Yeah, but again,
International
but
business,
the
and it
thing
was
is,
just
I'm actually
the
glad
Japanese market just never really.
I'm actually kind of glad Brett was, singling me out because I'm, my thing is like, well, how does this affect us? It doesn't.
Oh, how does it affect? Not at all.
Yeah.
Like, Kaz Hirai still has like an even more potent role in the company. He still could make decisions, right? But that would trickle out of the guy who's replacing him, right? That wouldn't come from him directly. So he's not going to step out on stage at E3 anymore, probably.
Kaz hasn't stepped out at E3 for years.
Yeah, because he's been Sony. He's not just
he's the main
president of PlayStation.
Well, Well, okay. So I mean, but he won't ever do that again. Like if there's PS5 announced, he won't be the guy going up there and be like, "Hey, you got that third job yet, buddy? Here it comes."
Oh shit! By the way, shout out to Tanks 90 who's hosting us on Twitch right now. So pretty
Thanks
cool.
a lot.
Appreciate that, brother.
Cool.
Yeah, but yeah,
you do not disobey Kaz Hirai, daimyo of Sony Entertainment.
Yeah, but yeah, to answer his question, you answer your own question, bro. So we don't need to go further into that. Okay, now this next question is interesting because I want to know who you hang out with, G Meg Forces. Sometimes you ask us these weird questions. You're like, why is everyone saying this? I'm like, who is saying this? You know, like you hang out with some unique friends. So here's the man's question: why are people getting excited about Dynasty Warriors 9? Let me finish the question. Okay, it's the same. It's the same game. It has been forever with the same characters. Who cares if it's open world now? The enemies are still generic. The warriors don't fight back. It's just more of the same. Just no loading screens. Why are people getting excited? My question is, who is the guy besides Rico? Who cares? No one's excited for this game. Listen,
I do.
Yeah, no. Okay, besides Brett, because Brett has to be Brett. No one gives a fuck about this game. No
What the
one
fuck
gives
is that
a fuck.
supposed to mean?
Hey, Brett, you're the contrarian, bro. You know that.
Hey, okay.
Apples are great. You like oranges. That's just the way it is.
You
Hey,
know?
oranges have their fucking merits, all right?
There you go. See?
But no, if Rico, if you're out there, I got your back, buddy.
Yeah.
I get why people like these games. They do something different. We're just all coming off the back of playing Monster Hunter, which does its own thing. And I'll grant you, Dynasty Warriors is a little bit of a less public audience, but yeah, like most of the random guys just sit around. But the game is supposed to be a quasi, and Rico will say this too. The game is supposed to be a quasi tactical game. It's a game where you are leading an army tactically, but playing a soldier personally. And that's a game that not a lot of other things. That's not a lot of games offer. If you really like that aspect, you can't go play God of War, Devil May Cry, or whatever. And actually, if they're turning the Dynasty Warriors open world, that sounds like they're locking you into scenarios a little bit less, which could actually change the game quite a bit. So, I mean, it may not be the same tired old Dynasty Warriors that you've gotten for the last 9 times. They're actually changing something this time. They're not changing everything. It's still going to be Dynasty Warriors, but that's the most fucking exciting Dynasty Warriors news I've heard in like years.
Yeah. By the way, I do need to point this out though, because you're asking, Black Metal, not Black Metal. By the way, it's Black Metal Gamer. Thank you for the $1. My man G Megforce is asking why is like, okay, this is the same game. Nothing's different. It's just open world now. That's a pretty big difference. Like, I'm not a Dynasty Warriors guy. I don't advocate for any of those games, but that's a pretty big difference. So if people are getting hype again, I'm not seeing any chatter about this game. It's probably because of that. It's an open world game. That does change things a lot, so you got to give it that.
It's going to change everything else. And you're friends with a lot of weeaboos.
Yeah, I think you might be right about that because sometimes he asks these weird questions. I'm like, who are you talking to, bro?
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Where are weaves at?
Yeah, we're not saying that's bad. I'm just saying, So yeah, I mean, general public don't really care. Let's just be real here, All right, we don't need to go further into that one. So we'll move on to the next question from Mr. Young Savage. We've gotten variations of this question, but we'll answer it again. Why not? Do you guys see PUBG and the whole battle royale thing lasting past 2018? Personally, I'm tired of it and I'm ready for it to die out. Let me know how you really feel. Okay, so yeah, will this shit go on beyond like 2018? Well, we see these games in 2019. Adam, I'm going to go to you first, man.
Depends on what they do with it. I'm sure they're going to change it up. I mean, they're making a bunch of money to do just that. So, I mean, they can see it, but I have a feeling that it's going to be two things. It's either they're going to wait till they start seeing it decline and the drop off rate, and then they're going to issue something out. But if they want to jump ahead of that, I'm sure they're working on something new. And right now, when it comes to new, the only thing I can think of is maps, because it doesn't look like they're going to incorporate any other modes. What we get is what we have, and that's it. So I think it's just going to be more maps. Now, if it's going to be free or not, that's the difference right there. Because I mean, if they start making it free, then that install base is just going to keep growing. Because I'm like, damn, for $30, sky's the limit. But if they start adding like DLC packs, you get these 2 maps, and then you start dividing that audience, then things start changing. So
yeah. Shawan Watson, what's going on, brother? He brings up an interesting point. He goes, I think it will go on as long as some other killer multiplayer game doesn't drop anytime soon. It's a good point. I mean, I'm going to kind of take myself out of this equation because I remember being the guy saying, oh, yeah, this FPS shit ain't going to last. When Call of Duty started hitting and look what happened, So
yeah, but we got Red Dead coming, and that's going to have an online world. So if anything, that would suck up that much, That's the other thing. People are like, oh, well, everybody from GTA is going to jump to Red Dead. I don't think so. I think a lot of those people are invested, financially invested into GTA Online, and they will stay there. They'll pick up Red Dead and they'll play and dabble in that, but it's gonna be a whole other crew because just like you, Tony, there's plenty of people that don't like westerns.
Yeah, but I like Red Dead though. I do like Red Dead.
Red Dead.
Yeah, but people follow the group, I think, and I think all you have to do is place out there the idea, the narrative, of like, oh, you play in GTA, huh? You're either just not good enough, or you can't afford Red Dead, or what's the deal? And immediately the conversation's over.
I don't know. I don't see it. It's going to take a big chunk, but I also think it's a different audience. When
It'll take a big chunk, but if they took 60% of the people who play GTA and put them onto Red Dead, that is enough for the other 40% to follow.
Yeah, but we're talking about people jumping from PUBG over to it, and I don't see it happening unless they have some kind of mode. It's just so different.
Yeah, I agree with Adam.
As for PUBG, this whole question rings silly to me because the first thing I want to say is like young grasshopper. That's ridiculous. That's like asking if April will come again. These games have existed long before PUBG, and they already exist outside. Like everybody wants to act like Fortnite's not a thing. Like Fortnite is already free.
It's like pretty girls. There's always a pretty girl. There's always going to be another pretty girl. It's just the way it is.
This is a type of game that has been in constant evolution since the days of DayZ. PUBG is not the only one to jump on it, and they're not even really the latest. Fortnite is the latest. The popularity of PUBG will dissipate, but then you will see a game rise up that has a lot of these same survival elements, a lot of these same gathering elements, a lot of these same competitive elements, and it'll come back out. You know, Ark did Survival of the Fittest before PUBG, and that was a huge success. So selling millions and millions of copies. It's this idea, this new game is actually forming, and it's now in the public zeitgeist. So it's like saying, are we going to see another shooter again? Yes, this is a type of game now. This is why I was so excited, back in the day. This is a type of game now, and it's always going to be there. It may not be PUBG, but it'll wear a different mask. But we're not going to just retire this brand new burdening genre after PUBG. I mean, let's be honest, PUBG isn't even the greatest representation of what this genre can be. It's not even a really good one.
Yeah, but I think the question was just for PUBG itself. It's not the genre.
No, he did.
Right?
No, it was for all battle royale games.
Oh, that's a mode. That'll always be there. That's a mode.
Again, I have a history of being wrong about this shit, so I'm not gonna answer. Because in my mind, I just want to say, yeah, that shit's gonna die out. Fuck that. But
Here's the thing, though. I don't think you're going to see another battle royale game. I think you're going to see battle royale mode in every other game.
I see what you're
I'm
getting
hoping
at.
you're actually going to see. Okay, what you need to play battle royale is essentially already a survival game. You already need a game like Ark. You already need a game like DayZ. You need a game where you run around, you collect resources, you manage land, you have little battle areas, and this can be done to different extremes. Ark is definitely the grindier extreme, whereas Fortnite would be the least grindy extreme. But you're gonna get that. And I guess what I'm saying is, because you can't have a battle royale without these foundations, they're going to build on these foundations. So what I actually expect to see is you'll actually see as this evolves, you'll see more fully fledged Ark-like online games. And they'll use wouldn't you like to play one big consistent game of battle royale with 60 different people where you don't have to load into a new lobby? You could just consolidate your power base with your friends and own this land. Like, I could see the commercials already being made for it. It wouldn't be a hard fucking sell. Now that we've come this far, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, yeah. For some reason, console players weren't open to the idea of losing something, especially on death. But with this new rush of games that actually force you to be able to play, or they don't reward you, or they're highly competitive, or you lose everything on drop, it's going to be an easier thing. Like, I've seen this happen. You can't tell a console gamer that if you die, everything you've worked for is gone. You just lost it. But for some reason, PUBG got gamers to swallow that pill. And they did it by putting it in battle royale matches. Like, yeah, you worked all this time to get this gun, but then the match ends. You're over. So now all they have to do is go the next half step of, would you like one continuous progressive game instead of just, jumping into a lobby every 45 minutes? Some people will say yes.
All right. Anybody else?
See an evolution of this game type.
Yeah.
I pretty much agree with Brett. Because again, years ago, Brett was talking about DayZ, and it seems like Daisy has evolved into what PUBG is now. So it's only natural that PUBG will eventually evolve into something else, and it'll still keep like the core aspects, just with a different coat of paint. That's my opinion. So answer is no, it won't be going away. It's here to stay. If you're tired of it, don't play it, I guess.
I,
Fortunately for you.
the thing is, one thing, a reason why I say this is I feel like the PUBG that battle royale game, right, is so far into, that is the game. It will be incredibly difficult for some other company to come out there and be like, "Hey, we're the battle royale game." You know what I mean?
Really though, because battle royale, like, its
I
flaws
see it.
are not hidden.
I'd see it surviving as a mode, but I don't see another game jumping on that same sort of bandwagon.
I'm gonna give you guys an example that Manny's talking about. He's okay. Remember when Halo was the game, right? Back in the day, everybody was saying, "Oh, is that the Halo killer? Is that the Halo killer?" Finally, it took Call of Duty Modern Warfare to dethrone Halo as the shooter. So Manny's trying to say it's like it's gonna take a lot to make people stop going, "Oh, PUBG is that type of game." Right, Manny?
That's what I think. I mean, that's not to say that there's going to be some sort of alternate variation of it, but I doubt that any other company can do that same formula and survive against the original.
I've seen it happen a lot of times in the genre. I mean, look at H1Z1. That's a perfect example. It happens all the time. And also,
but I mean, the thing is that H1Z1 really didn't do anything.
Dude, it was financially and within the game community, there are still people who play that shit.
I mean, yeah, there are still people that play it, but there's a lot of people that play other types of games. People,
H1Z1 did not hit that zeitgeist level, man.
It didn't. The game that did it, wasn't it that the game that we keep talking about, Ark? Isn't it that game that H1Z1 was trying to be? And that game, the perfect.
No, hold on. H1Z1 was trying to be DayZ. DayZ was wildly successful, selling millions of copies.
Exactly.
Hold on. H1Z1 was more successful. What do you think happened to most of H1Z1's player base when PUBG came out? They moved to PUBG. They went from DayZ to Ark to PUBG. These same people have moved along. And my big point here is, like, we've all talked shit on PUBG. The game, its flaws, they're sitting there on the surface. You need to spend 5 minutes with that game to see where it's lacking and where it's not. It's not like one of those games where, it's good on the surface, then you play it for a little while and it kind of gets better. So I think when a better alternative comes up, it'll be immediately obvious, won't it? I mean, that's kind of what happened with Call of Duty and Halo. Halo was the best game for the longest time. Nothing could hold a candle to it because they were all pale comparisons. You couldn't play a game and have it be as satisfying as Halo. And the second that people say, like, whoa, there's a better alternative here, they jump ship like fucking rats on a sinking ship, man.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I think
it was also the theme. It was a great military shooter, not a sci-fi shooter.
Yeah, and they'll swing back to sci-fi or something else. It'll be one of those things where PUBG will be a thing for a while, but inevitably now, because I only say this because I've watched it happen with DayZ. Like, DayZ came out and you're like, hey, this H1Z1 shit isn't going to lift off, and it did. In each iteration, each time something new came along, you're like, people aren't going to jump into this. Oh, they are. Why? Because why did people jump into Ark from DayZ? Like, literally the only difference was like dinosaurs and certain base building, and Rust had already done the base building, so it was Rust with dinosaurs.
Here's what I'm saying. H1Z1, right? And DayZ. DayZ was the original one. People stayed on DayZ, and H1Z1 just dropped.
But you're looking at a very simplified version of it, though, because it didn't go from DayZ to H1Z1. It went from DayZ, and then Rust became popular because Rust was a version of DayZ that didn't have any zombies that allowed you to build bases. And then from Rust,
what I'm saying is like the H1Z1 was supposed to be the one that came in there because it was the one that was on consoles. It was the one that was on there, and it was the one that came. It was what came out in a supposed completed state, as opposed to H1Z1. Wait, I keep getting DayZ, which is the one that was stayed in that beta mode until they moved on to the other one. But no one gave a shit about H1Z1, I think. I'm getting them mixed up. They're both zombie games.
Well, yeah, but my point is that even though it doesn't seem like there's much, there was a huge, heavy player migration. And I still see that player migration happening. I still don't see PUBG being the finished version. I still see PUBG being a broken version of a concept that they're still trying to figure out and smooth out the edges on.
Hey, Adam, you'll like this comment from The Truth. He goes, if we get a Battle Royale mode in Wildlands, that would give PUBG a run for its money. Plus, it looks way better.
Oh, that would be awesome because the world is massive. It's a massive world. And you have vehicles. You know, so you can have people just parachuting out and shooting at the same time and all hell breaking loose. That would be awesome.
See, right there. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That even as somebody who loves PUBG, you show him the right video game trailer and he'll be like, oh, shit, one of my friends are playing this.
Again, it's a mode.
Yeah,
that's
a mode.
It is. And I think the first time, the first time someone's like, here's the mode plus the rest of the game, other people will be like, oh, well, shit. I mean, the only reason I don't think like a game like Ark has worked on the console, they even tried to bring Ark to the console, and it just
it's on Xbox and both Xbox and PlayStation. Yeah,
it runs so terribly, it's borderline unplayable.
I'm gonna second that. Yeah, I played, even though it was a beta, I played the beta of Ark. Not only was just the basic gameplay not to my liking, the graphics terrible. It was running like at 10 frames a second. Whoo, that was not fun. You know.
So I think PUBG has the restraints on it that it does because it's being technically limited. So PUBG will reign king until probably next generation. I would even say until they can come out with a game that does the same thing plus more. Because I don't think they could make that Wildlands PUBG crossover right now. I don't think the console could handle it. But the second they do, people will notice. There is no loyalty to these gamers. I guess that's what I'm saying. Like I have watched the people who have played these kind of quasi survival open world games. Like there's no loyalty. The second something better comes along, they're like, oh well, fuck this, I'm going to the other one.
All right.
And like my Steam friends have all been the same. It's we were all playing Rust, and now we've all moved on to 7 Days to Die.
All right. Anybody else want to jump in on this? I'm going to take that as a no. So we'll move on to Digital Tiger. Right. Both of his questions are about Xbox Game Pass. All right. First one is, what's the point of Xbox Game Pass or any Game Pass when Xbox Live and PlayStation Plus offer superior deals? Think about it. With Xbox Live and PlayStation Plus, you get exclusives, third parties, and indie games for free every month. You get dirt cheap discounts on all for $60 versus $120 for Xbox Game Pass. What are your thoughts? That's a good question, actually.
You get a bunch of games and they don't have to buy anything. I think it's mainly going to be for people that are casuals, that are not so invested in keeping up with what's new and what's hot, and just want to know that when they do get that itch to jump in there and play a bunch of games, there are a bunch that are there. With the Xbox, those games get taken down. You have them for that time, and someone say, yo, that game was free last month and you missed it, you didn't download it. Oh, all right. Same thing with Plus. They don't stay free. What this is, they'll be there until they decide to take it down, but they said it's not going to be month by month, so it's just going to be a cycle through. So there's a good chance, and there's 100 games there, so there's a good chance of whatever you want to play, it's still going to be there available for you. So I think that's the plus side for a lot of people.
I think you just legit answered that question. I can't answer that. That's great. All right. So anybody else want to jump in on that? Because I think Adam pretty much hit it right there.
Well,
okay. How many games do you get access to?
What happened?
I said 100.
Yeah, you think about it. You get 100 access to 100 games anytime you want versus 2 new games a month.
Here's the other question about this. So, can you just get the Game Pass and not even pay for Xbox Live?
No, you still got to pay for Xbox Live.
Yeah, so you're still getting both of those things.
Yeah, you're still having to get both of them. Well, I mean, here's the thing: theoretically, you can get Game Pass because you could still get onto the store and everything via the without having the Plus account.
You raised a good question. Can you play Xbox Game Pass without having Xbox Live? I don't know the answer to that. If anybody can answer in the chat, go ahead. I honestly don't know.
Theoretically, you can, because you're not streaming the game over. Number one. Number two, they don't lock the store or any of buying any digital game behind a paywall. The only thing that they're locking behind the paywall is the ability to play online with somebody else.
All right.
So theoretically, you can play Xbox Game Pass without having Xbox
Live.
Xbox Live.
But we don't want to confirm that yet, so don't take
We
our
don't
word for
we
it.
don't want to confirm that, but it theoretically should work that way, because if this thing works the way I think it does, it's essentially downloading a file to your Xbox, which is exactly what you do when you buy something at the store. So theoretically, the only thing it would need to do is to check the verify that game. You don't need to be on Xbox Live to do that.
Here's my thing. The game list is, and it's surprisingly actually good. Even with that being said, though, a lot of their best titles are older titles, or for 360. So I know everybody wants to be like, look at all these free games, and a game costs $60. But as with I'm not saying it's
Well,
Xbox,
you just
same
asked.
with PlayStation.
That was it. What you just said is probably what they said in the board meeting, which is why all their new games are going to be on that service. So because they realize that they also have to get third party to jump aboard on this, and I'm sure not a lot of them are onto it. So they were like, all right, well then we'll just take that step. You know what? Like the new Sea of Thieves, that's going to be on there day one.
And that's really cool. There's also, to give them credit, there's some good games on here. There's Darksiders, there's Dead Island, there's Devil May Cry, Gears of War, Halo 2 is on here, Limbo's on here, Mega Man's on here. There's a bunch of really good stuff.
All right.
Say, bro.
Real quick, I found in their fact section, you do not need an Xbox Live Gold Pass.
There you go.
All right, there you go.
That's on their support
Theoretically,
page.
you could just be paying for this and play all the games that you want. The only thing you can't do is if a game like Halo, which has an online mode, you probably can't play the multiplayer on the online multiplayer on there.
Yeah, that's a good
I
point.
don't understand anything about that, but you know what? You probably could, because it's just for that game. It's not like you have access to everything for multiplayer. It doesn't say anything here. I'm going to copy and paste it. It's really a one sentence answer to this. They don't really go into detail, but yeah, it just says that no, it's a separate subscription and it is not required to have an Xbox Live Gold Pass.
But yeah, you will need Xbox Live in order to play the games online.
It doesn't say that either.
But I'm
doesn't say that.
That's a good.
We're
That's another good.
assuming
That's another good question. That's
Yeah,
another
it
good
doesn't say
question.
anything.
Hey, Sean, man, you're the big Xbox. I want you to answer these questions for us, bro.
Yo, man, he's got the connect. Literally. I'm kidding.
Yeah, he's talking about Halo. We're not talking about Halo anymore, though, man. All right, so let's move on. Again, the other Xbox Game Pass question. Okay, hold on. Sean says you don't need gold if you play the games on PC. Okay, why are we talking about PC, bro?
We're not talking about PC. We are talking about the Xbox, dude.
Yeah, he's been talking about his last three comments have been about playing Xbox games on PC. We're not talking about that. Okay, anyway, next question. Okay, speaking about Xbox Game Pass.
Wait,
cutting me off, motherfucker. Go ahead.
No, I'm cutting you off.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Because Sea of Thieves is multiplayer right off the bat. That's how you have to play it.
Yeah.
Think about it. I mean, so that would really suck if someone says, "Oh yeah, you get this part of your pass, and then you can't even play with your friends." So yeah, it has to be included.
No, it doesn't.
No,
that makes no sense. Then why would they? That's a big.
Do they still release games that you can't play online? Like, can you play Monster Hunter without a PS Plus subscription?
But this is with their Game Pass. They're putting that on Game Pass. They're saying that you get the whole game. It doesn't say,
it's not the only
with a
thing
little
on
asterisk,
Game
you don't
Pass.
get to play it as a multiplayer.
So you really think that they're not going to put it on there because you would have to buy their other service to play it? Like, are we talking about the same Microsoft?
No, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think so.
They're gonna make you pay for both, bro. They're gonna make you.
They're gonna make you pay for both.
Yeah, come on.
Dude, you have to pay for Monster Hunter and pay to play it online. Like, just because you have access to the game, if it is an online game, like they're very clear of Xbox Gold gets you online service. If you want to play an online game without Xbox Gold, well, you don't have online.
But that's the thing. You're playing in a bubble. You're playing the games that they're giving you in the pass service. It's not like, oh, well, I have this, so now I'm going to play Mass Effect Andromeda on it. That's not included in the pass.
You really think that they're just going to give away their brand new Sea of Thieves game without even adding you, like forcing you to buy? Like that's the whole way,
They're
man.
getting $120 for the game right there off the bat. You're subbing.
No, they're not. They're not getting $120 for the game. Everybody is getting $120 for their game. Like it's a very, you bring in a pot of money, yeah, but they're only getting a pittance of it. They want to get their extra money because it is a brand new game that is pretty much, headlining stuff. Like they're at least going to get you to sign up for both services instead of just one. You show me a game company that hasn't, or that's given you free games because it's an online game, and I'll maybe change my mind. But that shit happens really rarely.
I'm gonna put it out there on the line. Even if I'm wrong, you're gonna need, if you want to play a Xbox Game Pass game online, you're gonna need Xbox Live too. That just makes no sense. Especially if you decide, hey, I'm only gonna pay $10 this month. You think Microsoft's gonna let you play that shit for free? Come on, son. You need Xbox Live. All right, let's move on here to the second question. All right, speaking about Xbox Game Pass, what do you think? Okay, what do you think GameStop should do to combat it? If I was GameStop, I would sell nothing but used and refurbished Xbox systems and heavily promote that the cheaper option, Xbox Live, is on used and refurbished Xboxes. What do you think about that?
You sell keychains and pop figures. Oh, wait.
That's what they do already.
So yeah, no, but Chris, get in here. How do they specifically combat Game Pass? Because some stores, especially in Europe, they're pissed off about Xbox Game Pass.
Oh, my special hatred for GameStop, so
hence why I went to you first.
Yeah, well, they are flailing around trying to figure out how to save themselves now. So Game Pass is just another issue they have to deal with. And I mean, while they could they could push Xbox Live with refurbished systems, but I think only with the incentive if they bundle like 6 months or a year of it with the damn system. Like I don't see how that's advantageous to them because I don't know how much they even make off of selling the Xbox Live 6 months or a year subscriptions. I don't know if they probably make pennies on that. All the money they make is off of the refurbs and the used shit. So
Chris, what if this is the pack and bundle?
Well, they'd have to pack in something like 6 months or a year to make it.
Well, instead of like Call of Duty, would they actually say? But like, I'm thinking about the math here. I don't know how much they pay for each Call of Duty that they package with a console, but if they did this as a pack in anyway, considering it's in-house and for a service, and they're not technically losing anything, I mean, it may not be as hemorrhaging money as it sounds, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess not. The whole point is to keep people coming into the store instead of buying Game Pass, right? Which is difficult in this day and age where it's like, oh, I just have access to this shit right here, so I don't need to worry about going down to GameStop or wherever and buying this shit. I could just sign up for this. So the thing is, they'd have to really make it worth people's while to come in, especially like if I already have Xbox One or X or whatever. Like I don't care about a refurb system. I would only care about the stuff I want to play. So, and if I'm only playing like new stuff coming out, then they're screwed. If you're playing if you're playing the old Xbox library and they're going to push that over the Game Pass version.
They are. They're having 360 titles at least.
Yeah, that's where they'd have to really incentivize it with like, okay, we know they mark up the used games to high hell. So you'd have to bundle it with something like, here's 2 months of Xbox Live, or here's GameStop dollars, what the fuck they make up for, something with it that makes it that you come into the store instead of, I don't know what exactly that thing is, but that's what they would have to do.
Well, that's what their whole little stupid point system is. Like, you get
10,000
points, you get a fucking keychain.
Yeah, but that's not enough. That Tchotchke's rewards for that.
No, I agree. Can I, since we have a little extra time, can I ask you guys a question that I've been wondering about a little bit recently? So, I'm gonna do it anyway. GameStop has become kind of the one and only brick and mortar used game retailer. Not exclusively. I know a bunch of other people who are like, oh, there's this shop, but like for the most part, it's just GameStop now. It's not EB Games and Gameco and Babbage's and all these other fucking things like it used to be. So now that we live in this place where it's pretty much GameStop is the used game seller, and we're all kind of rooting for GameStop to die. Does that really leave no place in today's day and age for a brick and mortar retail used game retailer? And would we hold the same animosity towards them that we do GameStop? Because I know we mostly hate GameStop for their practices, not just what they do. We don't hate them for existing. We hate them for being a dick about how they go about existing. So is there a chance that we could go back to another company, or do we just all have to kind of resign ourselves to the fact that GameStop has killed brick and mortar stores, and after they're dead, it's just going to go the way of the dinosaurs?
No, I miss
Yeah, I
Funko
don't
Land.
think so. Yeah,
I miss
Funko Land is
Funko Land
GameStop.
too. You know, bring
Can
and we have a few like that out here where I'm at. So I mean, yeah, but they're mom and pop shops, you know. But I think that's going to be the route. You know, it'll be a fair trade type of system, you know, instead of all the crazy practices that GameStop brings in.
Yeah, I think when GameStop shuts down and they get rid of that stranglehold, because you don't know how many other stores, like mom and pop stores that Adam's talking about, that they've closed out. They surround them. They actually
Yeah.
have a strategy where they'll put, like a Starbucks, they'll just put two GameStops in and sandwich out those
You guys
other
know
stores.
over on Steinway Street, there's one right next to a Games Champ, and then down the block from there, there's another GameStop, and Games
Yeah.
Champ was first, and there's two GameStops like on both sides of it.
Yeah.
But
They try to drown you out. So if they go away, that'll actually inflate the chances of mom and pop stores opening up. Plus, mom and pop stores have more variety. Like the one over by me, they sell freaking Atari 2600 games. They go all the way back. Like you want to find a ColecoVision, you want to find, a Sega Master System, all that stuff. So that's stuff that GameStop would never touch.
yeah, there's one here that I was just talking about, and they do repairs. They repair your console, they repair your controllers and games
Yeah,
and carts. If let's say you have to keep blowing Nintendo, they'll open it up and they'll clean it out for you.
So yeah, that I think there'll be more opportunity for brick and mortar. Plus, yeah, they offer more, way more than GameStop would ever do. Like, GameStop's just a freaking ripoff. Now they're just a glorified Spencer's or Hot Topic.
Oh no, they're geeked out, not geek.com. What do they call it? Think Geek. They bought Think Geek, so it's all the Think
And-
Geek merchandise that they're
Yeah.
getting.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Like, because I'm just being pessimistic about it. It's like GameStop is like in everybody's fucking minds. They're never gonna go away. But the way things are going, they probably will go away. So I would love the fact that the mom and pop shops will take up the slack. My question is, when the fuck is this gonna happen? God, who knows? When you have these mega corporations, man, they have so much backing. I don't know.
It's interesting because it's all part of that Barnes and Noble world. They're all owned by Barnes and Noble, so it's like they have two stores that are kind of falling apart, which is two types of stores, bookstores and video game stores. So how long will it take for them to freaking go belly up?
With Amazon destroying both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I mean, again, I would love nothing for us to go back to those days, man, where you have your special game store that you used to go to. You know what I'm saying? That was unlike anybody else's.
I mean, one of the problems that you do run into from some of the video game, the mom and pop video game stores, at least remember from when we were younger, which was like CPS, and then there was Games F Us, right? Or
Yes.
Games whatever us or whatever they named
Games F
themselves.
Us, yeah.
Games F Us. So yeah, those two Games F Us used to freaking overcharge. They used to bump their prices.
Yeah, that's why we like going to CPS, because they used to treat right, and they get you all those import games. GameStop ain't getting you no import games.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, GameStop is bullshit.
GameStop ain't getting you the regular game half the time.
Yeah, right. Shit. Yeah, fuck them, man. All right, let's move on here to who are we up to? Oh yeah, Black Metal Gamer. All right, so his first question is: when you play an RPG or a game that has RPG elements, what kind of leveling up systems do you prefer? The traditional rack 'em up XP and automatically level up to get stronger, or do you like games that when you level up, you get a choice of how you get stronger via skill trees or placing your attribute points? Very good question. Basically, he's asking, do you prefer the Japanese way of leveling up or the Western game of leveling up?
I like the Japanese one, because at least you have some control over a lot of that stuff. The Western way of leveling up is just obviously it's made to be a lot easier, you know.
It usually takes too long, the Japanese way. Like Dead Space tried that. When you collect those nodes, and it's like, oh, that'll take forever to level up those.
Well, I mean, like
gear
like for a Japanese RPG, it would be like, hey, you just beat up a shitload of monsters before you get to the boss, and then you whip that boss's ass. I like having that for sort of freedom rather than, hey, you just walked in the room, you gained 10 levels so that you could beat this boss. You
Well,
know
he's
what I mean?
talking about like, okay, like in a Japanese RPG, basically you gain another level, you get some more defense, some more attack, whatever, right? In a Western one, it'll be you gain 1 point. You won't, your character stays exactly the same, but you get, hey, you put 1 point to sneak or 1 point to attack, and you basically by the end build a perfect character that's suited to you,
like the Division.
I don't even remember that game even having leveling up shit in that.
Yeah, man. Remember you had to go to the base and you
Yeah.
had to get different.
Oh
gear and
yeah,
you
that's
had to
right.
level up.
For me,
Yeah,
you know me, man. I prefer the Japanese shit. I don't have to overthink it. It's like I level up, I get more powerful. That's it. With the Western one, it's a little bit more micromanagey, more nitpicky. But I could see the benefits of it, though. I just, because let me finish. God damn it, let me finish.
I am sorry.
All right, so because like when you're playing a Western RPG, it's like you have to go online to figure out what is the best build and then work towards that. With the Japanese one, you don't have to think about that shit. Just grind on monsters, you're gonna get stronger automatically. You know what I'm saying? Because there's that point where you're like, am I doing the right character? Am I fucking everything up? There's that nervousness when you play a Western RPG. Doesn't happen in a Japanese one. You know what you're getting. With the Western ones, too micromanagey, and you just get too nervous about fucking up a character. But I do appreciate games that let you go, hey, you want to whatever the fuck it is, you want to redo your character, go ahead. At least if you're gonna have that type of leveling up system, at least have the option for me to re-roll. That's the word I'm looking for. Let me re-roll so I could do everything just right. Because So yeah, I prefer the Japanese one, but I could see the merits of the Western one. Go ahead, Brett.
Don't Japanese ones generally like a Japanese RPG won't give you as much freedom to choose the skills of your character? Final Fantasy, for example, it
kind of depends on the game too.
Yeah, it depends, Brett. Like
Dark
Final
Souls-
Fantasy
a lot of
X. Yeah.
control.
Well, yeah, but my point is that even when they do that, they tend to give you control back in just a different form. So in like Final Fantasy, for instance, while you can't really define how Cloud levels up, you can define what weapons he's using, what elements he's using, what materia loadout he has. So Japanese games tend to be more based off of your loadout and items and resistances and things like that, whereas your standard level up, it's just you've leveled up, you've gotten stronger. So I don't want to say that there's less micromanagement. Both games you can just face roll through. Like you can be like, like Monster Hunter, for instance, is very Japanese in the sense that you don't level your character at all, but it's all gear based. But that doesn't mean you don't have to pay attention to your resistances and what kind of element attacks you're doing against what type of enemies. And I find games that pretty much put you in a hard channel of this is how your character progresses. They then give you the freedom through gear or through special items that activate special abilities or something like that. So you can still tailor your character, just not at the character level. You do it at the gear level.
Yeah. See, by the way, with Western games, I'm thinking about stuff like, Fallout or Mass Effect or whatever. You get those points and you can put them in different attributes and stuff,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But what Eastern games, like, is there an Eastern RPG where you have to specifically play one way? Like I said, even Final Fantasy, I can choose what material loadout I want. I can still do Omni Slash versus, a different skill that's, less awesome.
Yeah, no, but he's
wanted
talking about like, in a game like Final Fantasy, when you level up from level 1 to 2, you're going to get stat boosts. Whereas in some Western games, you don't get any stat boosts. You just get perks that you choose. You understand?
Yeah, but in those Western games, you get perks that you choose, but then you don't have an equipment loadout. You have a set of gear that's clearly the best. You don't necessarily go for a lower set of gear because it has a special set of abilities, because that doesn't change anything. That's you get your choice either with your character or with your gear, I feel like. And I don't feel like they limit you more in Japanese RPGs. They just limit your selection more to your gear. You don't get to change your character, you get to change your gear. In the games that you level up your character, you get to change your character, but your gear doesn't really make a difference. So, in like Fallout, like, yeah, you can shoot something with a shotgun or you can shoot something with a pistol. It doesn't really matter as long as you're level 27. It has almost no consequence versus, some Japanese RPGs are like, oh, I'm fighting an ice beast, I have to use a fire weapon. Otherwise, it's going to be an infinitely harder fight. I don't think any game just puts you. Well, that's not true. There are games, but most games don't. Where you level up, they don't take all choice out of your hands. They just determine how they want to give it to you, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, nowadays most games, Western and Eastern, give you a lot of choices, but specifically back in the day, you're playing Final Fantasy, you just kill monsters, you're gonna get stronger. You don't have to worry about loadouts or any of that. So I'm talking about like the old Final Fantasies.
Dude, you had to carry. Yeah, you had to worry about which characters you brought with you. Like Final Fantasy 6, like
yeah,
you didn't
without
change
one,
any of those characters,
yeah.
but you changed your party. Like you still had customization options. You still got to have this character in your party, and they've been training in magic, and you have this character in your party, and they've been training in healing magic, and this person in your party, and they're your lead berserk guy. And you could actually switch them around a lot of times. Like, do I want this magic user to focus on healing, or do I want to focus on offensive magic? So I can't think of any RPGs where you've had all of that choice taken away from you, because then you basically end up with a game like Mega Man.
Yeah, that's true. By the way, not to go off too much off topic, but right now, as we're talking, Hip Hop Gamer is streaming, and the name of the episode is Monster Hunter World is Overrated Horrible Combat System. I got cheats. I don't know how you're cheating in the PS4 game, bro.
Whoa.
God damn it, man. Stop it.
Yeah, him and I had a big back and forth on Twitter today because he was not hearing it, bro. But, you know, what can you do? But
No,
yeah.
I'm fucking kept my mouth shut the whole time. I gotta say something about this.
We're going to go off topic.
You can't cheat on a multiplayer game, goddammit. Keep that shit at home. Keep it at God of War. This is a server-based game with other people who are basing their progress based off the progress of the people around them. You are actively now eroding the fun of the people who want to play legitimately. I don't give a shit.
They do it in PUBG all the time.
Yeah, dude. I don't give a shit if you stay in your room and want to be God mode in your single player game, but you keep that shit out of our fucking multiplayer games. And unless you're playing Monster Hunter completely offline, then I've got fucking issues.
Yeah, man. All right. With that, actually, let me just go down the line. Okay, Chris, what kind of leveling system do you prefer in RPGs, man?
I like it where I can set my attributes. I do like the micromanagement, which is why I mentioned Dark Souls before, because it's one of the few JRPGs that let you, like, you choose when you want to level up. Like, you could build up souls, right? And you could cash out, like, you know, like, all right, I'm going up 11 levels right now. You know, you go to the lady, the fire keeper or whatever, and then you spend it, and you're like, all right, I want more strength, I want more endurance. Okay, I'm gonna do a faith build, so I need, a miracle build, so I need faith and all this stuff. So I like that kind of micromanagey type of system. There's games like, Final Fantasy, like, it's just whatever, right? You just level up. Oh, I leveled up and my strength. I got a little more strength. I got a little more this, a little more that. But I don't know. While I love those games, I prefer being able to control that stuff.
Cool. All right. Let me take Carlos away from Monster Hunter real quick so he can answer the question. My man ain't talked all night.
Yo, man, I was just beating Zoro Magnaros right now.
Oh shit.
But,
Oh.
for like the third time. But yeah, my answer is kind of different. I don't really mind, like, it could be either or, but the biggest thing for me in an RPG is the UI in which the leveling up system takes place, because sometimes there's some systems where the UI just hides stuff and makes things so difficult to grasp. Like Monster Hunter, for example, there's some things that I don't even know, like, I didn't even know you could do, because they're so hidden within the UI where, like, oh, I can level up this. Oh, I didn't know that. Or, like, what was that thing called, Tony?
Or the decorations?
Affinity.
Yeah, Infinity.
What?
Affinity. That's right. I just learned about that shit yesterday. I'm like, really?
What?
Yep. And there's, like, stuff that gives you a disadvantage in the game for just not recognizing it sometimes. So yeah, like, if whatever the leveling up system is, if the game demonstrates to you in a way where you can easily identify it and understand it, I think that's the best way RPGs work. Because it could be, it could be in a Japanese style, it could be a Dark Souls style, it could be a Fable style or whatever, or Final Fantasy or something, and they all work. It's just the way you interact with the leveling up system that's kind of the best part of it.
Yeah, this question's kind of evolving to what is just your preferred leveling up system in general. Brian, get in here, man. What do you prefer?
I preferred when I level up, I get points into putting into perks rather than points putting into stats. Because I feel like once stuff becomes like a stat thing, then it turns into pretty much a spreadsheet simulator. Because then it's like, okay, I have points for these stats and then points for these stats, and then like you can easily just mess up a build so easily with like those stat based ones. Where it's just like, hey, like put this point in like this perk where you can like have this power or have that power. And I feel like that's a little bit more organic, as like you can as there's room to like mess around and like explore yourself. So I like the idea of just getting more perks and then getting and becoming more powerful, rather than like, hey, have 50 more health points, or like have like 5 more health points. It's like that really doesn't make that much of a big difference. Like if like the boss just hits you for like 100 damage and like you have 105 health points, then oh wow, you didn't die. You're now left with 5 health points. You're pretty much limping around, just waiting for like a heal. So I'm not really a big fan of that. So in other words, I like what Monster Hunter is doing. It's a cool idea.
Nice. And Adam, I know you're not a big RPG guy, but in games that have RPG elements, what kind of leveling do you prefer?
Well, just sometimes just a basic one where it's like you level up and you get certain perks from leveling up. So you know when you level up, you're going to get the following perks and following gear, and depending on the game, like shooters, that works out great, like Call of Duty and stuff. It's like, oh, that's great. All right. Because then once I get all those different things, then I can mix match with other things that I got from other levels. Or in like the Division, where there's different tiers, and then you can take your own path of how you want to play and how you want to level up. So then in a way, everyone's kind of unique because everybody could be either going one way or one path, or they could mix match all of them and add a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So yeah, but I'm not too fond of like just getting some sort of like what they did with Dead Space. I feel like the last Dead Space was more of a Japanese style. It's like you get some points, you get the nodes, and then you had to figure out what to do with it. But it went down a certain path. There was no go backs, and you had to find all of them if you wanted to level everything up. You would never. You can beat that. I beat that game. I didn't get all the nodes. I didn't get the full impact. I didn't have a super soldier. I had nothing. It was just, yeah, I don't like that.
All right, cool. And the last question of the night here.
Hey.
What's up, Brett? You went already, man.
I didn't.
Yeah, you did. You flat out said that you prefer the perk shit. Remember, I said mine, and then you were about to cut me off, and then I let you go after that.
I was making a point. No, I do prefer the perk shit though. Before we change it, I want to say like the ironic thing is the biggest culprit of our quote unquote Japanese style of game progression is GTA.
How's that?
You just progress, you get more health, you get more access to weapons, you don't get to customize anything.
Oh, but there were games before GTA that did that.
No, I know, but I'm saying like the game that's most guilty of this that I can think of currently is GTA. Even Eastern style RPGs give you more choice than GTA does. GTA streamlined that shit down to the old school. Yeah, you get another level. Now you're rank 162, and you have this much health, and you have this much everything else, and you have access to these weapons. So everybody's running around with the exact same loadout, exact same character.
Right. Hey, what's going on, Paranormal Gamer? Haven't seen you in a while, man. All right.
Yeah, because he's paranormal.
Yeah, right. He's spooky, man. I met my man. Here. Yeah, I met my man at E3 a couple years ago, man. That shit was crazy. All right. And the last question here is from. I'll wait until somebody stops fucking around with the mic. Okay. Good. Yeah, it is, Brett. I knew it. All right. Okay. So, what type of environments or levels in games do you always dread seeing? And conversely, which ones are you? Yeah, water levels. There you go, man. I don't like them.
Fucking water levels.
Yeah, my reason is because
you never do them right.
My thing, yeah, because they're always slow and shit. And then me, I don't like underwater stuff in general. So yeah, I don't like.
Yeah, because there's a good chance there might be a whale.
Yeah, man, it's scaring the fuck out of me. And then my other least favorite one, ice levels, because you're slippery and shit. So yeah, those two, water levels and ice levels, don't like them.
I don't like underground levels or tunnel levels. I just kind of feel claustrophobic in the game.
Oh, so that means that the Rotten Vale is like you hate that place.
Yeah, because there's a lot, Monster Hunter is a lot of those places like where you just like drop somewhere and you're like, how the hell do I get to this part? But yeah, I generally don't like those. I
I
prefer
think you're
open
meant to hate
areas.
the Rotten Vale.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
Yeah, Kal says lava floor levels. I don't like those either. You know, basically any type of environment that hurts you, I don't like. You know, it's annoying. Like the Rotten Vale.
You guys are going way more high-minded than I would have thought, or I would have gone.
What do you mean? But you're Mr. High-minded though.
Yeah, but man, like I gotta say, the thing I hate is those dark forest swamp levels, and like
With the poison bogs.
anything that could be considered a bog. I mean, that's also partially because of my phobia of dark water, and like don't get me wrong, the only thing worse than a water level is like a brackish swamp level. But the best example I can give is every single Souls game. There is always that place where you come to like the murky dark forest, and every time I'm like, oh no, not god,
There
not
we
this
go.
shit again. Oh, the Dark Garden. All right, let's just get this done.
But I mean, the thing is that it's also part of you. You don't like bogs in general. See, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the rest of you guys are like, well, I don't like this because it affects my gameplay. I'm like, I don't like bogs because I don't like bogs.
Yeah. Okay, I understand what you mean. By the way, oh my Jesus Christ. So hip hop is using a wizard. Well, I don't know what the fuck that means. A wizard to cheat in the game, right? I don't think he means an actual wizard. I think he's a download program, and he's encouraging his viewers to do the same.
No,
Tell me
that
they're
is
offline.
wrong, man.
Just tell me he's offline at least.
He's oh my god. I don't.
Wait, is there a way to play that? Because I don't see it. Maybe they don't have a way to detect that. So if you join a session, I don't think it's going to be able to stop it.
Somebody report this nigga.
Whoa.
Man, hip hop. I gotta have a talking to this man next time I see him.
No, man, he's encouraging people to fucking cheat in the game. Ban that motherfucker. Seriously.
That is the appropriate action.
If you see this motherfucker on there, send out the ban note to this dude because that is fucked up.
God damn hip hop. What are you doing, bro? By the way, you always notice, and again, I love hip hop, that's my dude, but you notice that at the beginning of every year, he always gets into some shit, man.
Let's tweet that shit out now.
Manny, go ahead, man. Jeez.
Let's tweet this shit out now.
I don't want to see this turn into another Cuphead scenario. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god. All right. I lost my train of thought right now. I don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
Then hip hop is cheating in a console game.
Yes.
How's that even possible?
That's what I want to know. How is that
on
possible?
consoles.
Yeah, it's so there's no PC version, right? Of this game?
No, not
Yeah,
yet.
so
How is he using a
How the fuck
wizard
are you
on PS4?
All right, for those of us who don't know me, what the fuck is a wizard? I'm thinking of a guy with a hat,
It's like,
you know?
so like usually on PC you'd get a thing like it's usually called a trainer, right?
Yeah.
It's an app that runs while you run it before you run the game, and it'll find the memory values of things like ammo and your health and all this stuff or items list, and in the trainer you say like,
You just change it
I
up.
want infinite money, and it locks your ammo so you always have infinite ammo and all that stuff. So
Usually
he's
when
using something similar.
Yeah, and usually when a game gets constantly patched, that's what they're patching. They're constantly chasing after, and it's a
Maybe
cat and
that's
mouse
maybe
with
that's
these
what
trainers.
one of the recent patches was for. Who knows?
But how is he loading it? That's
Yeah,
the whole thing with the
he would be able
console.
to play.
Yeah,
See, like I remember when they did it with Diablo 3 on the console. What it was going on was that people were getting hacked gear on a PC version and then using the mailbox system to send it to people on the consoles.
Mhm.
So I have all this hacked gear and stuff, but it wasn't. That was it. It was just gear. I don't know how he's doing it because you said Monster Hunter is now on PC, right?
No, it's not. It's not going to be on PC until the summer, you know? Or the fall. I think it's the fall now. But by the way, Cal, he said he's like, when I hear wizard, I think Lucas and the Power Glove.
Oh,
Yeah.
And our boy Wiz is like, I'm not helping hip hop. Oh my, yo, what? Hip hop, what are you doing? Stop broadcasting yourself cheating, man. Jeez.
But he's got to show proof. I mean, he's got to be showing how he's doing it. Then
He's streaming it right now, man. Oh my
but I mean,
god.
he's streaming him playing, but is he streaming the tool that he's using?
I guess he's telling people where to get it and shit. Oh my god. Anyway, let's finish this fucking question. What the hell was it again? Levels that you don't like. Who was up next, man? I'm all fucked up right now. I can't believe this shit.
I'll just go. I don't like the underwater timed levels. I don't like any
Oh my
timed
god,
levels.
time shit. Fuck
Tony,
that
why
shit.
did you do this to me?
Oh yeah.
He's running around on fire. He won't roll.
Wow. You see, that's what I'm talking. He doesn't know how to play.
Because he's got infinite life.
Because he doesn't know how to play the fucking game. Anyway, yeah, Adam, yeah, I'm with you. Time shit, fuck that shit,
I
man.
hate that. I hate timed. That's what I hate about the first Dead Rising, and even when they started adding in some, I hate having to constantly look at the time. Oh, I gotta do this. I gotta do, because then it's like it adds that other anxiety. It's like, yo, I want to explore this game. I want to have fun. No, I can't. I have to do everything on the time. You know, it's just.
I got another one, man. Those levels that move and shit that you can't move. You know what I'm saying? Like in Mario, it's like the levels moving, but you can't have any control over it. So you have to make sure you don't fall off or whatever. You make it to the end before. You know what I'm saying? I hate that shit. You know, because it's like forcing. It's like locking you down into something.
Like when it's forcing. Well, you get a lot of those in Uncharted. Remember where everything is crumbling around you and you gotta hop and run.
You could think of it like that. You could think of it like that. Yeah, where like shit is crumbling around. You could think of it like that. And then like if you get to the edge, like you get squished and shit.
Yeah. If you don't make it in time, oh, he falls, he dies. No, he did.
Yeah, Kal-El, I know Monster Hunter is not a hard game. Jesus Christ. All right, Chris, what about you, man? What levels do you hate?
Anything geared around an escort mission where you have to take a totally worthless person around, because they're always geared in a way that's like,
He can't do
man,
anything.
there's just extra bullshit around you, you know? Like the rest of the game, like you have normal system, and then all of a sudden you got to escort somebody who can't defend themselves, and then like there's 8,000% more guys and traps. So anything like that, anything geared around escort, where the escort doesn't help you, it's just like this. One thing I'm going way back. Descent Free Space had those missions where it's like, oh, you got to take the freighter through this, like shipping corridor and watch out for pirates. And there's like, oh, there's about 8 billion pirates in here. Wow, I never see this until I have to escort the freighters through here. So I hate those.
All right, Brian, go ahead.
I guess for me, I would have to go with levels where you die instantly. So any level where you just fail because of like one wrong thing that you did. I'm not a fan of those. So this includes stuff like stealth missions, where it's like, oh no, you got seen, so you have to restart the whole level again. It's like, really? Like I'm a badass. Like why am I suddenly like all seeing again and like I guess he once and then I die. That's not fair. Or, like levels where like you fall into like the lava pit and then you die. It's like that's not really fun. And
by the way, Brian, just to quickly interject, it's funny that you said that about stealth level because the first thing that came to my mind was Splinter Cell. I'm like, oh, you mean Splinter Cell? That's the whole game. You guys see once it's over. It's like, how is it over? Can I at least fight these guys, get myself out of this situation? you know?
There was something like that in Zelda. You know when you go in the Yiga clan hideout.
Yeah.
Even
that was bullshit.
The second time you go in there and you're like, this is near the end of the game and you're all beefy when you have to go back in there. And you still have to sneak around. If they see you, I'm like, oh, I got masters, I got all this shit now. They still kill you.
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
I don't even know why. I'd rather it just end because you have no chance to get out of there.
Yeah. Anyway, Brian, continue, man.
No, that's about it, really. Just levels where you just die instantaneously. I'm not a fan of them. And I guess to go with the Brett's answer, or like what type of answer that Brett was looking for, I'd say water levels, as I have an inherent fear of drowning. I don't know whether because I'm a black person and that's just like inbuilt now or something, but yeah,
shit,
I'm not a fan of drowning.
Yeah, I mean,
got the joke.
Yeah, you know what's funny though? Even though like obviously I don't like underwater like in real life because it's just like you can't see anything; it's all dark and shit. I just don't like water levels in games mostly because of the mechanics. It's like you're fucking slow and shit. I don't like that, but there is the added element. Like if I'm playing Eagle Dolphin, obviously he's fast, but I may run into a whale. I can't handle that, man. That shit fucked me up. When I was playing Eco the Dolphin on Sega Dreamcast, it was just a demo. I'm like, I was getting paranoid because one of my fears, I'm telling people right now, is some deep shit right now. One of my fears is that one day I'm going to wake up. I don't know how I ended up in this situation. I'm going to wake up in a helicopter above the sea, right? Motherfuckers throw me off the helicopter. I fall right into the water. The instant all the bubbles go away and shit, the first thing I see, a huge ass whale just looking at me. I'm going to have a heart attack right there, bro. So that happened to me in Eco Dolphin. I'm, jumping up and down through the water and shit. I'm like, don't see a whale. Don't see a whale. Pfft, there's a fucking whale. I turned that shit right off. I'm like, nope. I can't handle this shit, man. I can't handle this shit.
What about when you played the Assassin's Creed Black Flag? You had to go and do the deep sea dive, and there's sharks.
Yeah, those kind of a little bit fucked me up. But here's the thing. This is going to sound really weird. Whales scare me more than sharks. Sharks, I understand. They want to kill me, right? I understand where their minds come from. A whale is just this weird thing that's just staring at you, and there's intelligence behind those eyes. That freaks me the fuck out, That is fucking weird. Like a shark, I understand. It's just, it wants to eat you, and that's it, I know I'm a weird motherfucker. Anyway.
Orca is the worst of both worlds, then.
Yes! Oh my god, yo, okay, Jaws... kind of scary, but the shark always looked fake. When I saw Orca, that movie fucked me up more than Jaws, man, because that's a actual thinking animal. It's not just some brainless shit like a fish.
It was actually murdering the town people. Yeah. Jaws, you had to go out in the ocean for it to kill you. You are safe. You are safe on the beach, man. Just don't go in the water. Orca found a way to kill you on the beach.
Exactly. And Orca knew what he was doing. He was like, oh, I'm going to get these motherfuckers, man. Yeah. He knew what was going on, Be afraid of mammals, man. Fuck fish, though. Carlos, did you go? He's playing Monster Hunter, man.
He's playing Monster Hunter. He's looking for Hip Hop Gamer to get him through some levels.
I did go. I said underground / like.
Yeah, that's level. Right. That's right. Tony is Captain Ahab. All right, now we got to do the flip side of this. What are your favorite types of levels?
Tropical.
Can I just jump in really fast? Because yes. I added one thing that I'm not a fan of. Levels where suddenly you run into the camera. I don't like them. And Naughty Dog seems to do a lot of them. So I think that's the reason why I'm not a fan of Naughty Dog. It's like, hey, all of a sudden now you run into the camera. You can't see what the hell you're running into. You just have to guess and hope for the best. Or just die a couple of times and just trial and error. That's not good design. I'm sorry. I'm not a fan of that.
But they want you to feel like you're looking behind you, and they don't want to let you do it like Dying Light did for some reason.
I'm guessing you didn't Crash Bandicoot, because that perfected that shit.
Those levels were stupid. They were really stupid. It's like, I run into the camera, and then I just hope that I don't fall into a pit or something dumb like that. No, fuck that game design. That's stupid.
Can I use that moment to just give a shout out to Dying Light for putting in a button that serves no purpose other than to make you crap your pants?
Oh, that was brilliant. Yeah. I love that. It's like, I wonder how far they're right there. They're right fucking there.
Yeah, you don't need to force the player to do that. They'll be like, I wonder how far. Oh my god.
Yeah. Anyway, favorite levels. Brett, you already said jungle levels.
Tropical levels, man. Give me them palm trees, yo.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it because it's so every game has that. It's so generic, but yeah, those are really cool. I like those. My personal favorite are either like city levels or like futuristic levels. Like with a bunch of technology. That's the shit I like. But yeah, anything in like a modern big city or like the future, I like those type of levels.
Now, intact city or destroyed city?
Intact. Has to be intact. The destroyed city, man, I don't care for that. Even though I'll take that over underwater level. Like my favorite level in Mario was the fucking New Donk City. That was fucking awesome. Also why I like what was it? Forza Horizon 3. I didn't like that game because it was in Australia, right? It's like outback. I'm like, I want to drive in a fucking city. I want to drive in this fucking desert, Anyway, Manny, go ahead. Favorite kinds of levels.
Favorite kind of levels? I would have to say the jungle levels. I like those. Fun.
Yeah, Green Hill Zone, shit like that.
Yeah, and then I would say that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Chris.
I guess I like anything future theme. Although when I think of like ideal places where games where I've had a great experience in a level, I always think of Shadow Moses. I always think of Metal Gear.
Oh, nice. Yeah, 'cause there's technology in that, you know.
Yeah, and it had such a variety of places for a nuclear disposal facility. It sure had a lot of different areas. It
Yeah,
makes
that's
sense,
right.
but, you know. Like I'm like, there's a smelting plant in here. What the hell are you smelting in here?
Yeah. Brett, what the hell are you saying? I can't read any of that shit in here.
Oh, I'll tell you later.
Okay, never mind. Because they could see it. Anyway, Carlos.
Okay, yeah, no. If they could see it, I'll say it. Hip Hop's gaming. I'm watching his gaming channel. I'm like, he's not doing bad, but dude, some of these comments are savage. Gamers are rough people.
Yeah, we could be brutal, man. We could be brutal. I wonder if he's looking at the comments.
Probably not.
Yeah. Actually, he usually does, but you know. All right. Carlos, favorite levels.
I usually like jungle levels. I don't know. I just like the way. I don't know. For some reason, I always think of Horizon Zero Dawn. Those jungle levels were freaking crazy.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, pretty much any open space to me.
I'm noticing something like, especially with a lot of platforming games from back in the day. All the first levels were jungle levels. I think I'm starting to understand why people seem to like those. You know?
Yeah, that's true. Man.
Yeah. Brian, favorite kinds of levels.
I am quite partial to snow levels. I love me some snow levels. I think they're really cool. I don't know what it is about it. I think it's just like seeing your feet in the snow and like seeing like the snow tracks. And I see like how like your character like reacts to the snow. I think that's really cool.
Hey, Brian, have you played Rise of the Tomb Raider?
I have not yet. It's in the books.
Oh man,
snow porn, man.
Yeah, man. On Rise of the Tomb Raider, man, it starts off as a snow level. It's freaking amazing.
All right. I should also add that one of my favorite levels in video games is the good future of the first level in Sonic CD. Why? Because it's both a jungle and futuristic. It's crazy. All right, Brett, get in here.
What do I really like?
Yes. What kind of levels do you like?
Oh, I like tropical levels,
Yeah,
man.
that's right.
I like
Yeah.
jungle levels. But not just jungle levels. Particularly tropic levels. Like I loved and that's just a thing. Like I fell in love with Hawaii the first time I went. Like that is the greatest environment scenery to me. So like Dead Island immediately I was like, oh yeah, fucking zombie game in the tropics? Yes, let's do this shit. Like the environment or the whole like it's a tropical paradise actually like really makes me want to play. So yeah, generally if you put some palm trees and some sunshine in there, because I live in goddamn Kansas, then I'm happy.
Barry Burns says that Brett is Master Higgins. Okay.
Magnum PI.
I guess. All right. Yeah, Adam, go ahead, man.
All out war levels. You know, once you jump in and they're like, all right, everything's happening. Like in Timefall 2. Remember that one, I think it was Mission 9, where you're at a wall and they're all coming at you and you just have to keep going and fighting and just chaos. I love when games finally get to that point. Usually it's like a climax. Like, all right, this is the big battle. I like big battles. Anything that has a big battle. Assassin's Creed, a few of them have big battles.
Monster Hunter.
But that's a monster.
Horizon.
That's a monster. I want to give a special shout out to cloud levels. I always like this because you're up in the sky and stuff. You know, it's kind of like a snow level, just like with a different version of water.
But like flying a plane,
No, like you know, like in Sonic the Hedgehog and Mario, like you'll be like up on the clouds and shit. I always enjoy those type of levels in games. It's cool, but yeah, flying.
What other game does that where you're not flying? Like.
No, like in Sonic, you're not really. I mean, that's so actually.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. You just said Sonic and Mario, but I mean, like usually you're in a plane.
Oh yeah, usually. But you know, because I'm thinking by the way, just so you guys know, when I'm thinking about like level design, I always revert back to 2D games. You know, so yeah, and those games used to have that all the time. You're like in a sky mountain or whatever. You know, that shit is cool. All right, I think that's gonna pretty much do it here. Again, hip hop, bro, you need to stop, man. You need to stop with the cheating, bro. Actually, no, I'm sorry. We have one more question from my man Hussein Unsal, who actually dropped us a question during the show. So that's great. Okay, so his question is, with the recent talks of acquisitions, which video game companies made the best or worst acquisitions? Examples, Sony with first-party developers, Square with Eidos, and Microsoft with Rare. Good question. So what were the best acquisitions in gaming? Everybody's thinking about this one, boy.
Anything
Uh,
by EA.
Acquisitions generally aren't great.
Naughty Dog.
Oh, Sony getting Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good one. That's true.
Does that include companies getting franchises?
No, I think he's talking about more like a company buys, another company.
I would say like Bethesda bought Fallout from Obsidian.
Well, they
That's-
bought the IP.
Interplay.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Interplay that had that.
But you know what?
They
Let's
bought
add,
the
let's,
IP,
let's,
but they
let's
bought
add
the
games.
studio.
Let's add games to this too. Why not? But by the way, Brian, you actually jumped in there first. Go ahead. What was your answer?
Anything by EA.
Those are the best. Those are the best. Okay.
Or are they the worst?
Yeah. Right, Chris. Go ahead.
I'd say Activision's acquisition of Blizzard.
Yeah, that is
mean,
true.
that's huge.
That is true.
Yeah, that's a huge one.
What about Sony with OnLive?
Gaikai?
Gaikai. Who actually OnLive was I was Microsoft that did that one, right? Who bought OnLive?
No.
Who bought OnLive?
Was it EA? I don't know. It wasn't Microsoft.
Okay, I don't even remember then. I remember Microsoft and Sony both bought like streaming people or entities around the same time.
What on live? Let me check.
Let's check that out. Manny, go ahead.
Let's see. I said Naughty Dog.
Oh yeah, any other ones?
I mean, let's see.
Sony. It's Sony who.
Oh, Sony
Is the
bought
parent
OnLive.
company.
Yeah, that's what I figured, Ben. All right, actually, don't worry about it, Manny. Who else? Adam, go ahead.
I guess it would probably be an older one, but it's when Microsoft bought Bungie. They gave us a bunch of great Halo games. They
they
let them
buy-
go eventually, but that was a big one when they bought Bungie.
Actually, kind of going towards Adam. They bought the Gears franchise and they bought the Halo franchise. Well, I mean, they kind of.
But
They
those IPs. But I mean, with Bungie, they bought the whole dev team. They bought everything, and then eventually they sold it back to them so they can get their freedom. But still, they gave us a lot of great Halo games. That may have not been possible if they didn't buy them.
Yo, Barry,
about-
you're trolling me, son. He's like, oh, you skipped my question. You didn't ask any questions, man. He's trolling me right now. All right, who else didn't go? Jump in.
Shout out to Bethesda buying id Software.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
They also bought the guys that made Duke Nukem.
Yeah, he beat Anjanath with a cheat, though, Brett.
Yeah, I'm trying to be nice here, motherfucker.
But everybody can see it, though, man.
That's what I'm saying. Some props. I don't know what cheats he's using. He's still taking damage. He's doesn't have infinite stamina. I don't. Maybe
Unless
he's
it's a glitch and he's calling it a cheat. Maybe he knows some kind of glitch or something.
I mean, he says he's using the wizard or a trainer. So what
He's cheating, man. That.
Dude,
Come
I
on,
don't know,
son.
man. Y'all know how I am. Like, I'll call somebody, some motherfucker out, but there's a lot of people in his chat kind of giving him the business.
Oh, so you don't need to then.
Yeah, like I don't like at this point, like being a dick would be kind of brigading. So it's just one of those like, look, man, like
Yeah.
it's
You know what? That's
it's
true.
obviously-
That's true.
It's obviously challenging. He still got through it. Like, good for him. He's got some things he needs to learn, like when to sharpen your blade and to roll when you're on fire and stuff like that. But people in his chat are definitely fucking letting him know that. So I don't know, man. I just think it's practice, but good for him.
But you know what you know what I did? As opposed to totally ousting this guy, I just said, tweeted Capcom and Monster Hunter. I said, this guy is using a wizard and trainer and telling people how to download it. What do we think of this behavior?
Yeah, no, in terms of that, like, no, absolutely. Manny's absolutely correct. The right thing to do is not necessarily brigade or talk shit or get everybody together. Just report that shit if you see it, because it's not supposed to be happening. I'm shutting my mouth here because I could go off and I'm gonna stand back too.
I just want that. I don't want to be the one to evaluate him. You know what? Because I think it's wrong, but I want to hear what Capcom and the people who create Monster Hunter think about this sort of thing.
Yeah, and I'm not seeing him playing online either. So
He's not playing online.
Yeah, if he's not
I didn't
playing
see
with
anybody else
online,
in his,
you know,
nobody else in
whatever.
his session.
Yeah, if he's not fucking up anybody's game, then you know, whatever. You know, let's just be honest.
That's kind of where I was standing. So like, you know, I would like, so like, you know, I know I've been.
I don't
in the business,
condone
and I mean it in the
cheating.
nicest possible way,
Yeah.
hip hop. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not coming at you hot. I'm just giving you the business, man, because we're cool. But I see enough other people giving you the business, and I'm like, all right, man, that's cool.
We don't need that. We don't need to add to that shit. So
Yeah, like, he's getting it already, man. And we actually like the guy, you know. So
Yeah.
we're definitely not gonna go crazy on because we don't need to, you know. Because at the end of the day, it's just games. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, but at the same time, you shouldn't. It shouldn't be condoned that.
I don't condone that cheating at all. But you know,
It should never be condoned that you should do that. This is the sort of stuff that can be done. You know what I mean? Like, theoretically, we should all be able to go out there and be able to play a game, and play it the way the developers intended. And that's my biggest issue with what hip hop takes part in. He considers himself an incredible big video game fan, but he's willing to change the game to suit his own needs. And to be honest, that is not the best representation of a game, especially if you are a person who is a personality or a games journalist like he is.
yeah, well said. I agree. All right, Barry, we're gonna answer your question. Sorry if we didn't get to it before. So his question is, Sony is adding analog sticks to move for PSVR and probably rolling out an updated headset. Should Sony or anyone else be doubling down on VR, or is it time to let VR die again? Now, before we answer this question, just a couple of things here. Sony put out a patent for updated Move controllers. Just because a patent exists doesn't mean these things are going to happen. Just got to get that out there. And also, the headset did get a revised version earlier. Late last year.
HDR support or something like that. Or
I don't know if it was the actual
They have
headset.
some kind of
The actual headset itself is it's a lot more comfortable. I was able to play it. It was fine. But yeah, just so everybody knows, Sony is not officially doing this yet. They just made the patent for it. So it's not official. So we're going to go with this as a more theoretical type of question. But yeah, should Sony double down on VR, or is it time to let the shit die? Brett, I'm going to you first as the maven of VR.
The Maven.
All right. I guess I'll start by working from the back end now. VR is not dying. It's not dying. Period. End of story. It's not. I don't care how irrelevant you think that it is. It is being integrated into businesses across the world. I know 3 separate people who use VR outside of gaming for their business. What that means is that it's got a lifeline. It doesn't need to exist solely on gaming, so that it can work its way through the awkward little hops and skips that it's going to need to do to get to the point where it's good for gaming. So it's not going to die, even if Sony stopped supporting it. The market's not going anywhere. The demand isn't going anywhere. The people who are buying this shit aren't going anywhere, and the availability for it or the viability for it as a product, not just a gaming product, but as a product, is not going anywhere. In 20 years, they will be doing surgeries through VR. They're already checking stock and ordering supplies through VR. Like, it's like saying like, oh, when is this cell phone fad gonna pass? Like, it's not. They're trying to figure out how to do it right. It's here to stay. It hasn't picked up. Now, the other part of your question, is this something viable for Sony to be investing in? That's where a real question lies, as opposed to the little dig that I did catch there. It's cool though. So is it prudent for Sony to double down on this? I would venture yes, because I don't think it's a whole lot of strain on the company, and the first person to get a truly working, viable model to market is the person that's they're going to be the iPhone of these headsets, and these headsets are going to become a thing. The big question up in the air is, how long is it taking? Because it's taking longer to develop this stuff than we had initially thought that it would. The headset came out and everybody thought that they'd work out all the bugs really quick. They'd build all the peripherals really quick. And that has actually proved to be more of a challenge in an emerging market than a lot of people originally considered. So both Vive and HTC actually have a pretty healthy environment or ecosystem going on, and there's a lot of people developing for those two platforms specifically.
Was it the Vive that just announced a wireless headset?
Yeah, like they're both upgrading their product, making money, attracting developers. The ecosystem is healthy. It's small, but it's healthy, and it's one of those things where everybody says like, "Well, I'm not gonna pick up VR until there are games for it, no matter how awesome it is." It's kind of it's a chicken and egg thing, or a cart before the horse kind of thing. Like most people don't want to pick up a VR headset until there's a big video game library for it. But they're having trouble attracting developers because there haven't been enough headsets sold to push 10 million copies of your game. So it has to go through the incremental baby steps. It has to have larger and larger developers coming forward and taking part in it. You're even seeing some of the largest developers like Bethesda actually putting in things for like Skyrim or Fallout VR. And I want to say I just read a story on Fallout VR where it sold over 1 million copies pretty quickly, which isn't huge gangbuster numbers, but it shows that there's 1 million fucking people out there with a headset who bought this game, which means that there is some demand for it. So we're actually right where we should be. Keep in mind, this is going to be a long process. This is not something that's going to be in every single person's living room and is going to be part of a video game setup probably for like another 10 years. Like this is still in the early adopter phase. I even said when I bought my PSVR, like, this is early adopter phase. By the time this thing probably hits mass, critical mass, they'll have another version out. I realize I'm buying the early adopters version, and by the time, VR comes to everybody else, I'll have to buy another VR headset. I totally get that, but it's there's nothing wrong with it. It actually is really fun in certain contexts, and when you actually sit down and play with it, you can feel where the technology is trying to catch up. So I don't understand why everybody because 9 people that I know don't already have this thing and I'm not playing Call of Duty on it. Is it time for it to die? Like, dude, it's a burgeoning thing. Like it's right where it should be. It's right where I would have kind of expected it to be. So I don't understand the validity of the question. So it's a very long way to say no, I don't think it should die. Very long way to get to a short answer. But I guess I'm not really understanding the validity of the question. So if somebody really wants to maybe put it in a perspective that I haven't looked at yet, I'm open to that. But
I think they're putting it in the same category as like the Vita. They're like, something they tried, now it needs to go. Didn't work.
Yeah, but it's not just a Sony thing.
I know, but I mean that's what I think they're seeing it as, is like, it's just something that needs to stop and they can focus on other things.
By the way, this is what Barry Burns says. He goes, I'm not saying VR isn't viable in general. I just don't think it's viable in its current headset and wired form in the long run. And he goes, current VR is like saying beepers are still viable now.
I don't think a wireless headset is nearly as easy or as practical as he thinks that it's going to be, because that's going to require a lot of battery packs. This is coming from a guy who's wearing a 5-pound set of wireless headphones right now versus the infinitely more comfortable Turtle Beach ones that I have over there. The internal battery on this makes them cumbersome and clunky. Yeah, if you're willing to strap on a belt filled with battery packs and look like a life field drawing, yeah, you could go wireless, but is that really less cumbersome than having a trail of wires? Because most people aren't walking through a virtual environment. They're either standing in one place and doing stuff. They're barely moving from the area that they're in, or they're sitting. Like, I don't really see. Yeah, it all sounds really good. Like, man, I have my wireless headset my VR headset be wireless, but you don't really get a whole lot from that. You're not wandering through your whole house playing a VR game. You're gonna fucking trip over coffee tables and shit. VR is still a relatively stationary experience, and I'm pretty sure it always will be. I don't think VR is ever going to be like a run around an empty warehouse kind of thing. So I don't think it needs to go wireless, and I don't think it can go wireless. And
By the way,
go ahead.
Can I just do a hip hop gamer update?
Oh God,
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh boy.
He said he's comparing the combat system of Monster Hunter to Devil May Cry and Bayonetta.
Well, at least he's not saying
Why?
it's Dark Souls. Wait. At least he's not saying it's Dark Souls.
That
That's
would be a more
progress.
viable option.
It would be. It would be. It would be. Yes, it
Well,
would
It's
be.
more like Dark
It's
Souls.
not like full game journal mode of like he's bad at playing games, everything is Dark Souls, and everything that he doesn't like sucks. Then he's like, no, we can't have that.
Okay, Brian, you know,
I like hip hop too much.
You know how Dark Souls and Dragon's Dogma share a kind of combat system, at least? It's very
No, they
Japanese in the sense like, here comes a big dragon swiping his claw at you. You better dodge out of the way. And you have to go, oh shit, here comes a dragon claw, and roll to the left. You know that whole thing?
No, because Dragon Dogma is a lot more faster paced. I would actually compare it to stuff like Devil May Cry and Bayonetta than Dark Souls.
Really, I felt it had a lot to do with timing and precision. I didn't think it was just a swing and hack. Like, I thought you had to know when to stop.
With just pacing and timing, and it's not actual timing. It's just more like being at the right place and doing the right things.
That sounds like timing.
Okay.
It
Yeah,
sounds like timing. Just getting it out there. That sounds like timing.
Okay, it is far faster paced than Dark Souls. Dark Souls is definitely nowhere near as fast paced as Dragon's Dogma is.
It is if you have a fast weapon.
I wouldn't say that fast paced.
Okay. No, I would say, yeah, no, Dragon's Dogma is a little bit quicker. But
Anyway, yes, Brett, to your point.
yes, my point was basically that it's a timing and reaction based game. It's very Tony and I had to talk about this. Japanese combat games tend to actually make you wait a little bit more and be environmentally aware as opposed to just spamming X over and over and over again. So I have no problem with people actually comparing this to Dark Souls in the sense of like, yes, you're fighting a giant monster, watching for its tells, dodging, and then timing your retaliation to be able to hit them, not getting greedy, and then getting the fuck out of there before you have too much damage. Like that, I won't compare the game to Dark Souls, but I'll compare the combat style to Dark Souls. I'll accept that.
All right. By the way, we're getting a lot more questions now. Where the fuck are we? All right. Anyway, does anyone want to jump in on the VR thing? I've said enough about VR. I don't feel like talking about VR anymore.
I think I said enough, or I said my piece at least.
Yeah. All right. Moving on here to Mr. Joe Torres, man. All right. Has the word anti-consumer lost all meaning when discussing video games? He's specifically talking about these guys that are saying exclusives are anti-consumer. You know, that type of nonsense.
We went down this road.
The short answer is yes.
Yes,
Like
that's
Brian?
yes, yeah. Yeah, that's my answer. It has lost all meaning. It doesn't, because everything, basically anything you don't like, that's anti-consumer now. That's what it all boils down to. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, well, people just go like, wait, I'm a consumer, so if I don't like something, it's anti-consumer. No, that's not what it means.
Oh my god. The reason I'm slang is because you're 100% right. I'm a consumer. I don't like that. It's anti-me. It's anti-consumer. Dang. Fuck, I want to slap the shit out of all these people, man. God. All right. Anybody else want to jump in on this? It has the word lost.
I just want to say, if you can't substitute the word anti-consumer with predatory business practices, you're using it wrong.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, and I need to just throw this disclaimer out there. No, I'm not advocating violence. This is just what I would like to do. I'm not going to do it. You know, slapping people. Tony, you're so violent. You're going to hit me in the back of the head with a bat? No. Although, I'll stop. I'll get myself in trouble.
I'll slap a bitch. A good, firm, open palm, come back to reality kind of thing.
Yeah, you're still going to keep your face. Nothing's going to get broken, but you're just going to get slapped a little. That's all we're saying.
You're going to have to wear the red mark of shame for the next half hour. Sorry.
Yeah, but we've been down this road with the anti-consumer. It's fucking stupid. If you say that, you're an entitled little bitch. All right. Next question. Has Microsoft devalued their exclusive games with Xbox Game Pass? Great question. Adam, let's go to you, man. Have they devalued these games? So think about it. We talked about this. You could buy Sea of Thieves for $10, man.
Well, no, but I looked up and I found out another section when they talked about multiplayer Game Pass. It's not included.
Word.
And that's something that they need to tell me. It's not that you're going to need the gold membership, and they're going to get prompt that they're going to need it when they click that option to play with somebody or something. So, no. I mean, it's how many other games do they have exclusive? If they had a massive exclusive library, then yeah, but they don't. They don't have
That's
that
a good
right now.
point.
So,
That's a good point.
I was about to say, so we're talking about their what now?
Yeah, that's true. They're exclusive.
Hold on, I'm confused. They're what now?
Just cue the John Travolta gif. It's like they don't exist, man. You know, oh, what about Sunset Overdrive? Yeah, that was 3 years ago, bro. Where's the new shit? You know, come on, man. Anyway, what do you guys think? Has the Game Pass devalued their exclusives? I think we answered the question. No, because the exclusives don't exist.
Well, that's not even the correct way to go through it. It's like it doesn't devalue their exclusives; it devalues the console that it plays it. Because, like for example, Game Pass is going to be on PC, or is it on PC or
It's not
whatever?
on PC. It's just on
no,
Xbox for now. It's just on Xbox for now.
Well, but still, those exclusive games are still mostly on PC for the most part. So, like having them on Game Pass just makes people play. Like more people reach that game. So it doesn't devalue it. The only thing that devalues a game is the quality of it.
You know,
And
so
when you release it,
I'm surprised Microsoft isn't really pushing the whole value platform right now since GPUs have gone through the roof.
what do you mean?
Well, the
prices.
GPUs have gone to like a little over generally double MSRP because they found that they're really good for mining cryptocurrency, more effective than CPUs.
Oh no, I know that, but like how?
So because it's driven the price of GPUs up so high that building a budget, as we've talked about on the show a lot of times, how you can actually build a budget PC, you can't anymore. You cannot anymore. The value of GPUs has skyrocketed so hard and so fast that you are pretty much not going to get your money's worth out of building a custom PC, at least right now. So for the first time in fucking history, the argument that Xbox is a legitimate lower budget option for people who don't have the money to play on PC, like that is now an actual legitimate remark, as it never was. When they were pushing all this shit so hard, you could build a $500 PC that would outclass the Xbox. You can't do that right now. And so I'm really surprised that they're not pushing the power versus PC, the power price point versus PC angle at this point.
They probably don't want to bring attention to that shit. You know, I've noticed a lot of people aren't talking about that. You know, the price of graphic cards being, you know, insanely high.
Well,
Not that much media attention, or am I bugging? You know?
No, there's a
I
lot of
think
media
it's just
attention.
you, because I've been hearing like a lot about it. Like,
Yeah.
even like PC gamers being like, yeah, don't buy a PC now because prices are stupid high. Like,
Yeah.
everywhere I've gone to that have just turned around and said, like, don't buy PCs since what, October, November-ish. I mean, like, don't buy PCs, anything. Prices are really high, and then of course they get worse and worse. I think it's just the
Damn,
console
man.
outlets just
Yeah.
don't know about it, so then they don't report it. Not surprising.
It kind of makes sense though if you're just talking about consoles, and since most gamers are on consoles, they probably wouldn't report on that. That makes sense. You know,
And generally, it's the higher end graphics cards that are
yo, man, them
outselling.
Titans, man.
Yeah, those cards, the latest 1080s, you know, the latest AMDs, those are the ones that are selling through the roof. Like the low budget graphics cards.
Even the used ones.
Yeah, the low budget ones, I don't know if they are affected or not. Because why would anyone want to get a cheap ass graphics card that?
Because they
Doesn't
can't
really-
afford the expensive ones anymore and it increases market demand?
No, but like the whole point of mining for cryptocurrency is you're kind of in a race against power to generate whatever money you can with the power you use, like, because I bet that power bill comes pretty expensive. So these people buying these graphics cards have to make sure that they're mining like with a card that's like powerful enough to justify it, you know?
Yeah,
At least with a cluster of graphics cards.
makes sense.
Yeah, because if you're mining with a graphics card from 10 years ago, it's like,
You may actually be losing money. No, I'm just really surprised because this would seem the time that Microsoft would talk about, like, you know, we have the most powerful gaming console out there and it's actually affordable compared to, you know, it's more affordable and hits the price point of accessibility and cost that they've wanted to broadcast this message. They've tried to broadcast this message, but it hasn't really floated because it hasn't been true. Now that it's true, you don't hear a goddamn peep out of them about
They
it.
don't want to plant
Well-
that seed. They don't want people even looking into that as an option.
well,
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
what
only
I
that,
think.
but Microsoft has never really acknowledged PC gaming as a competitor. I mean,
I guess
because
that's true.
No, they have. Even Mike Ibarra was saying that shit. He's like, I compare the Xbox One X to a high-end PC. So they've
yeah,
done
you're
it,
right.
you know?
You're right. With the Xbox One X, definitely. But previously to that, it's kind of like console gaming was always in their own little avenue. So it's just not till recently where they're like, oh, the Xbox One X can do 4K gaming, and they compared with low end PCs.
Yeah. Damn. So Wiz says Micro Center was charging $1,100 to $1,200 for 1070s and 1080s. That's fucking nuts, bro. I bought my 1080 for $700. You know, that's crazy, man. All right, let's move on. We got two more questions here. First one is from Mighty Nerd. So he goes, "Do you guys think the Nintendo Switch will sell more this year than it did last year?" Great fucking question.
If the Switch launched January 1st, then it would have been a harder question. But I don't. Oh no, it would have been an easier question. But I don't know because they have 12 months this year to try to outsell the Switch.
But they lacking those huge games. We were talking about this before. They're lacking those mega games this year.
Yeah, well, it's that, and then the production issues from last year also kind of hurt the Switch last year.
I have an answer, but I was wrong about Switch last year. I don't want to be wrong again. Fuck it. Fuck it. I'm going to say it's not going to sell as much this year as it did last year. There's just not that many games this year, man.
Yo, made you double wrong.
Yeah,
They're gonna have to rely on third party.
they're,
Yeah,
they're
you
probably
don't- you don't
listen.
wrong.
Just have that crow ready for me, you know, just in case. But fuck it, I'm just gonna throw it out there. It's not gonna sell as much this year as it did last year. You know.
I'll tell you what. Well, I'll take you up on that. One of us is going to serve the other one crow because I think they're going to launch the virtual console and it will.
And again, remember how, like we
I
talked
don't think
about.
they're gonna launch Virtual Console at all.
Oh,
Ooh.
explain.
I think they're
Shots
making too. I
fired.
think they're making way too much bank off these classic retro systems. That they're going to do that for N64, and they may even launch a variation on the SNES Classic or the NES Classic. But I think they found their cash cow in those, and there's no incentive to put a Virtual Console on the Switch when people were buying these like hotcakes, man. So I think they're not going to offer a Virtual Console this time.
Now, Chris, what about as to the question? Do you think Switch is gonna sell more this year than last year, or it's gonna sell less?
I think their momentum is going to slow down this year only because they don't have, as far as I can see, hard hitting titles. Like, unless you're going to launch something that'll top Breath of the Wild, which I doubt. Like, you're not going to have that rush on, like, new people getting the system, you know? And,
Breath of the Wild and Mario.
yeah, and Mario Odyssey, right? So that was all last year. So even with AD tiles or whatever, I don't think there's enough incentive to pull in uh, new people this year, like as opposed to last year. And I admitted I was wrong. And those games were like Titanic, like even bigger than I thought Mario was gonna be bigger than Zelda. I don't know, I was wrong about that too. So
Mario did
you
sell
don't.
more than Zelda, though. Just throw that out there.
And over. Okay, I was
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But
Zelda sold way more than we
there was-
predicted, but Mario outsold it. You know.
yeah, you're not gonna have anything this. I mean, even a Smash remake or whatever, like more Wii U ports are not going to fill that void that and the people anticipating Zelda and Mario were those were new games, right? The new properties off of IPs people love. Metroid Prime 4 probably won't hit this year, and I don't think Bayonetta 3 will hit this year. I mean, all we saw was logos. So unless those are all of a sudden gonna drop, but even either the I both of those titles together wouldn't add up to Breath of the Wild, as far as I'm concerned. So uh, I don't see how they could keep up that momentum of outpacing last year this year with no real exclusives to pull people into it.
Yeah, the only thing I can see that would kind of do a little craze, like as a buffer in between like the launches of new games, is if they do a port of Smash Brothers, or they do the virtual console, which Chris says he doesn't think it's going to happen, and I think I'm inclined to believe him because they're launching the online whatever the online system this year, late this year. So it's like, oh, we already have something to release this year, so we're going to do virtual console next year or something like that. and if they do like a port of Pokemon, because I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they have a new game ready anytime soon. So
Hell
they
no.
might.
What's the point of announcing your online service without? And I'm not saying the virtual console is a thing, but without some benefit. Like, why come out and say, "Hey guys, we're going to start charging you money," and then not come back with some sort of, "And here's what you're going to get for it."
Well, they might tell you, oh, like here's the online service. Now you can use Netflix and Hulu and YouTube.
Maybe that seems like an awful small pittance. The only reason I think that they will announce virtual console is because they know that they don't have a whole lot to stand up on it otherwise.
Yeah, I guess it just really depends because obviously they're not going to release the virtual console this season or next season. We have to wait for the fall or winter, and if they don't announce another, N64 classic or whatever's next in the line of classics, then
Yeah,
it's
it'd be
possible they might
N64.
release-
Yeah.
yeah, it's possible they might release something this year, but I would think maybe 2019 or maybe even later.
All right. What about the rest of you guys? Switch gonna outsell the numbers it did last year.
I think it's gonna continue to go up, but I don't know if it's gonna do any. I think it's just gonna continue to go, but I don't think it's going to do. There's gonna be something that's gonna be another killer thing to get people interested again.
Do you
Like, I
see
think
that
it's gonna-
happening this year though?
I don't know, because I mean, this year it just seems like there's nothing, but who knows? I mean, they have a bunch of re-releases and all kinds of other things. I mean, what will be the thing that will get people interested again? Because you got to kind of keep those things coming.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, and Manny's right. Like it's dust collecting season right now for the Switch. No one's talking about this right now, other than Labo, and like if people don't, because like the Switch launched last year with a huge title in Breath of the Wild, then Mario Kart, then Splatoon, then Mario and Mario Rabbids. It's like people were just like we're talking about Switch throughout the whole year after it came out.
Yo,
And now-
watch Labo be the thing that's gonna make me wrong. Watch Labo be the biggest fucking thing of the year, and I'm gonna look stupid.
Dude,
You know?
I talked to a client of mine who already has Labo, and I was asking him a lot of the questions that we had on thing, and I was like, "Why did you get it?" He's like, "Oh, I got it for my kid." And I was like, "Aren't you afraid your kid's just gonna destroy your cardboard?" And his response was, "Better cardboard than an expensive ass game controller. I can just order a new pack of cardboard for like $10."
But it's not $10. It's $80. Understand?
Yeah, I mean,
It's $80.
and do they have? If you do not construct the thing properly, which I know people probably will because people are fucking people.
Yup. You already
What
know,
is
man.
what is the replacement policy on this? Like, what can you go out and be like, hey, can I get some more Labo parts, and how much would the Labo parts cost?
Good question. By the way, I want to give a shout out to Mighty Nerd. This is what he said in the comments right now. He goes, "Thanks for answering my questions, guys. I've been watching your show for years, dating back to when you kicked out that one co-host of who was the bad rapper." Oh shit.
Oh wow! All right.
So yeah, so my man knows. My man knows.
He knows our sordid past.
Oh man. All right, yeah. Yo, imagine if Labo makes Nintendo like sell even more this year, man. That'd be fucking embarrassing, man.
It'd be a very interesting sort of thing. Like it can that would also just prove that Nintendo could just sell you anything. They could just sell you like a freaking garbage can and be like, hey, there's a game connected to this.
Yeah, and the Nintendo fanboys will buy it. Oh, you got Mario in it.
Well, don't they have something called Garage or something where you can just use your own cardboard? They said something like it's an application that you can get, and you can use your own cardboard.
Download your own cardboard here.
Get your own cardboard.
No, you download the shit. All right, I don't want to talk about the Labo anymore. Last question here from Mr. Czar is great. Okay, what do you guys think about Far Cry 3 coming to current gen consoles with Far Cry 5 if you pre-order or something like that? Hey, the Far Cry 5, I think Special Edition comes with Far Cry 3, for PS4, which would be the first time that game's available on current gen. I never played Far Cry 3, so I don't have any opinions. But I get that's cool.
Is that the one with Pagan Min?
No,
Who?
no, that's 4.
No, that's the one before.
Well,
It's the other guys. Like, what is the definition of insanity? You know that.
Yeah,
one.
that a lot of people like that character.
Yeah.
So, it's
Is-
I don't think it's a bad thing.
Is it the blonde dude?
No,
But
it's
they
the
get
it's the
free
it's the
on
Troy
Hispanic
Beck-
it's the Hispanic guy, man.
It's
Yeah,
not
but
Troy Baker.
But it was a
Just say
Hispanic.
that.
It was like a tan dude with like a.
Yeah, and
Like
the guy
each
who did the voice looked almost like him. You know.
Remember, there was like this whole controversy where it's like, is this like racist or something?
Yeah, I remember that. But this is game journalism. You know how that shit goes, man. Everything's racist now. You know. Let's
But
just
yeah,
be
like-
real here, man.
Well, they were saying it was racist because it was not played by a Hispanic person or something.
I think no.
No,
I don't know what the fuck. Everything's fucking.
it was it was like, I think they showed the cover and it was like him, the main villain, and I think there was like he had slaves or something like that, and they were saying
Oh.
like because they were thinking.
Oh no,
the
you're
guy-
thinking about you're thinking about Mighty Ming or whatever the fuck his name was.
Pagan Ming, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
talking. I'm
It was
talking.
Far Cry 4.
Yeah, yeah.
Never mind.
Pagan Min is the Troy Baker one. That's the one I know.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the guy. I'm talking about because and everybody says Far Cry 3 is the best Far Cry game. You know,
Is that the one where you start in the car and
you're
like,
in
you get
in
shot
the jungle,
head?
man. Yeah, remember the guy's like, what is the definition
They're all
of
in the
insanity?
jungle.
Yeah, they're in the jungle. Yeah, and they get kidnapped by some
Yeah, that
crazy
actually was
motherfucker.
pretty good. I have it on PS3. I didn't.
Remember, like
finish-
the controversy with that game. Yeah. You didn't finish it, right, Chris? Wait, was it on Far Cry 4?
No, 3.
Yeah, on PS3,
I had-
right?
yeah, I got it. It might have been PS Plus like I don't know, a few years ago. I didn't finish it. Yeah, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say because I remember the other controversy was because there was they showed the shit during E3. One of the trailers, it's you fucking this woman in first person.
Yes,
you know,
that's right. Yeah.
it was crazy, man. A mighty nerd, go ahead and toss in the question. By the way, Black Metal Gamer's like toss in what? Because remember, I'm replying to these things, but the YouTube guys don't see me. Don't see the comments from the whatchamacallit from Twitch guys. Also, Black Metal Gamer, why are you sending me private messages during the show? You know I'm not gonna look at that shit. You know, come on, man.
Yo, man.
Hey, get in here,
tell you
man,
so.
mighty nerd, because we're about to wrap this shit up. Wrap it up,
Yep.
wrap it up, wrap it up.
Wrap
Get that
it
question in here, man. Anyway, let's fluff it. Yeah, again, you know, that's cool. You get Far Cry 3. Maybe I'll play. I probably won't. Let's just be real here.
Yeah, I'm
but
I wasn't really.
I heard that the DLC for this game is going to be crazy. One of them, you go to Mars and shit. You know how Far Cry. Here's the thing: I've never played a Far Cry game, main game. I played all the fucking side games. Those are awesome. Blood Dragon and fucking the Caveman one, Primal,
Oh,
awesome.
Blood Dragon was amazing.
So if those DLCs are, yo, what the fuck is that bread? You gotta chill, bro. Now I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so if the DLC for that, yeah. So I'm fucked up right now. Between bread and hip hop, I can't keep my mind together tonight. I lost it. Oh yeah, the DLC. It's gonna be cool. Yeah, if it's on that level of Blood Dragon, I'm fucking there, bro. I just hope it's separate. I don't have to buy Far Cry 5 because previously you didn't need to do that. You know,
It's a season pass.
it is a season pass. So I'm like, yo, can I get that shit separately? Because I don't want to buy the game. You know, although Far Cry 5 has a pretty cool soundtrack. When I passed by their booth at PlayStation, they kept playing 80s hard rock. I'm like, hey, I'll buy the game for that. You know. Anyway, Brian, go ahead.
Do not pre-order Far Cry 5. It's Ubisoft ploy to get you to pre-order the game before it's out. Like, so don't. Just
But
don't.
that's
Wait.
everybody's ploy with pre-orders.
No, don't do it. Just don't. It's Ubisoft.
for
It's a trap. Just don't do it. Okay,
Trap.
what you do is that you wait until they release like the Game of the Year edition, like a year later, or just wait until they release it like separately, and then buy it that way. Like, don't buy a season pass before you even know what the hell is even out there. And plus, the fact that they've announced the season pass is like, fuck you to Ubisoft. Like, the game's not even out yet, and we know that there is like a season pass, which means that there's DLC in the works before the game's even out yet. So yeah, that's
To
That's
be
shady.
fair, a
that
lot
is
of
bad
companies
because
do
that's
that. A
what
lot of
I want.
companies do that, just to be fair.
yeah, and they're scumbags. To be fair.
Okay, but I'm like, Brian, why are you complaining about this
This is
now?
EA.
You know what I'm
This is
saying?
Because I will sit here and I'll
Telling
say
you
it again
don't
and
fall
again
for the
and again.
rope dope, man.
Exactly.
Okay, but I'm just like, we've been down this road already. They all do this shit, you know?
Yeah, don't buy into it. Simple. Like, don't buy into it. Don't buy the season pass. like just wait until the game's out, like normally, and then buy it, because this is just a ploy for them to get you to buy the game, just for this. It's the same reason, or it's the same thing that Activision did with Modern Warfare Remaster. It's like, hey, buy the game, get Modern Warfare Remaster for PS4. It's like, it's clearly just a ploy to get you to buy the game before it's even out yet, which is something that we are against, because that's a bad business practice. Yeah, don't do it. It's a cool game though, but don't do it.
It's anti-consumer.
Uh-oh. Is it really anti-consumer, though?
really
Season
shitty.
passes, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Explain,
Actually,
because
that's one of the few
I
things that are.
yeah, I kind of don't see how that's anti-consumer.
Because they're getting you to buy a game based on their promises and their word of that it's going to live up to the expectations of the very manicured message they've sent you. So essentially, you're buying a product that you don't know what it is. And they're employing these very smart tactics like, oh, you get a free prize in this box of cereal to get you to do that. So they're using manipulation tactics to get you to buy a product that you don't actually know what it is. And they do this intentionally so that if their product doesn't actually meet the level of hype that their management team has set out, that they've still got their money. They're working on selling the game as much as possible before anybody knows how bad it is. And that is bad for all consumers and all customers. Because
And
it allows
my
them
question
to
is,
come out
why
with
are
half-baked
we
games.
complaining about this specifically now when this has been going on for years?
Well, I was just stating specifically about how this is one of those actual anti-consumer practices, kind of a callback to earlier in the show.
And
All right.
plus, wasn't that the question? Like, what do you think of Far Cry 3 coming as like?
Yeah, that is true. So
season
you,
pass?
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So
so
you think it's bullshit?
Simple.
Okay.
Don't buy it. It's bullshit. Wait.
Wait until it comes out. And he's not saying don't buy it, period. He's saying don't pre-order it. Like,
Don't
because
pre-order it. Wait. Just give it a year. Like all these companies, they do the same things. Like a year after they release the quote-unquote Game of the Year edition, just buy that
Yeah.
instead. It comes with everything. Simple enough.
be a patient gamer. And I want to jump on what he's saying too. Like, we all talk about how don't pre-order, because pre-ordering is a bad business practice that promotes bad habits on the side of developers, where they can just hype a game and then not deliver what they said or deliver a broken game, and we're left holding the bag. Pre-ordering a season pass is twice as damning as pre-ordering a game, because not only are you pre-ordering their game, but you're showing them that you have the good faith in them as a developer to continue to provide additional content even now that they've already got your money. I mean, generally speaking in life, that's a bad idea. Don't pay somebody until you've gotten the service from them, because otherwise, if you've already paid them and they haven't performed the service, they have no motive or incentive to actually perform the service or to perform it adequately. This even goes down to me in the tattoo realm. Like, I tell people, I don't want to get paid before I do the fucking tattoo. If I get a huge deposit down for the tattoo, that shit goes in a drawer and I pay myself when I do the tattoo. Why? Because if I get paid $800 and then 4 weeks later I have to do that thing for that $800, so I paid my rent for, you're not as motivated. It just takes something away. It's a basic human condition. So you are playing into that by just giving them your money now and being like, I'm sure they'll take care of me later. Like, yeah, you're putting yourself in a situation to be taken advantage of. And the more that they vie for you to put yourself in a situation where you're being taken advantage of, the more that you're being taken advantage of as a consumer, thus anti-consumer.
Lewis brings up a good point. He goes, it's the same as Kickstarter. Yeah, you're kind of giving them money. You don't know what you're getting. You know, that is true.
Kickstarter is a little bit different. The only difference with Kickstarter is that you know that you're gambling. And
It's a
that you
loot
know.
box.
Yeah, well, part of the idea. Kickstarter is half charity. Let's all be fucking honest here. You're trying to help a little guy produce something that wouldn't be otherwise produced. That's the theory behind it. Anyway, like if you
You
use
can't put that shit on your
Yeah.
taxes.
Yeah, man.
can't what now?
You can when you donate to charity, you
yeah.
can deduct that on your taxes.
Oh yeah, no. What I'm saying is, I don't want to delegitimize. Some good things have come out of Kickstarter, and I think crowdfunding, as abused as it is, has some merit. But yes, if you donate to a Kickstarter or a crowdfunding campaign, you should be wildly aware that you are pretty much just throwing your money in a hole in an effort to help support a creative team or person or whatever. You are trying to support somebody. It is like being a very tiny little bit of a venture capitalist with almost none of the gains except for a product if you win.
And by the way, like the only way I kind of understand Kickstarter are for people who are literally just random people making shit. But if it's a huge corporation like Sega starting a Kickstarter, they can go fucking kick rocks.
Yeah, no, exactly. The Kickstarter is supposed to be in exchange from like look, I want to make for instance, my sister wants to make a card game, and she's going to be crowdfunding part of the initial process. But just like any good Kickstarter person, and this is possibly because I've yelled at her about it, you have to have the product already viable. You have to have the product already coming to market. You have to have something that is going to be good and finished regardless of the success or failure of the crowdfunding. The crowdfunding should be to help polish, to help promote, to help finish, to help make better.
And that's for people who literally don't have any money to do this. Like for huge corporations, they have money to make these games, but they do Kickstarters just so they can like not invest themselves in the game.
Or show their investors that there's people in look there's it's not a fucking focus group.
Yeah, and I mean in this case the people who donate are the investors, but there's no return. You don't make any like percentage of what the game makes. Like you're not technically a shareholder of the game.
No,
they make the game, they get to sell it on GameStop's, Best Buys. You're not getting a fucking dime out of that shit. So what's the point of investing in a game if you're not going to get anything in return other than the game?
In a successful crowdfunding campaign, you should be getting the product at a very, very, very low price. Like if you're buying an $80 end product, you should be able to invest into kickstarting it for $20 or $30 and still get that $80 product. The idea is that you help them get their business off the ground and their production in line, and then because you did that, you get the product at cost because you were an early adopter. So there is a financial benefit to seeing something brought to light, in theory, in a perfect world. And again, 90% of crowdfunding like doesn't work the way that it's supposed to, but that doesn't mean that the idea is inherently wrong. We've seen some really good things come out of this, out of crowdfunding, but we've seen some really bad horror stories too. So I don't think that pre-ordering is like crowdfunding, because crowdfunding comes with, you already should know the issue of, I may not get the product I want. It may change. It may not even happen. But even then, like if it doesn't happen, you at least get your money back. So you're promised to get us something.
That's not guaranteed.
I thought it was in Kickstarter's bylaws that if you didn't like the product had to be funded in order for your money to be taken as a donator, and then if they don't deliver the product, all that money gets refunded. Like they have until X date to actually deliver the product. Now they could be a wildly different version of the product than you were wanting.
Or maybe they could bust out a Star Citizen, or they just like I mean it'll be 2021 or it'll be 20 or 200 and 2300 when actual Star Citizen is going on, but people just forgot about that they donated to this page. They just
well, Star Citizen is one of the worst offenders too, because they do the exact opposite, where instead of like, oh, you buy in and you get a discount, they're literally charging thousands of dollars for fake spaceships at this point, where it's like, okay, so either you're abusing your early adopters at this point, or this game is literally going to cost $3,000 when it launches, and I don't give a fuck how good it is. You cannot be charging this kind of money for a video game, and then to keep it perpetually in limbo the way that it is until nobody cares about it. I mean, Star Citizen is the next No Man's Sky, just on a longer run course.
That's a brave claim there.
Oh man. Anyway, let's go down to the last question here. We got way off track there. All right. The last one, Mighty Nerd. We're giving you another one, brother. All right. So his question is, with the soon to be released 7nm fab technology, do you think Nintendo will release a 7nm 3DS successor capable of Switch games, but with an extremely longer battery life and smaller form factor than the Switch? I believe they will launch the 3DS. They will because the 3DS is selling at a slower rate than the DS, and true portability is the future. The Nintendo Switch isn't, but a cell phone, 3DS, PSP, and Vita are. I don't know about these chips. I guess. Here's the thing. I wouldn't put it past Nintendo to. By the way, let me just make a disclaimer. I don't want them to do this. I don't want them to do this, but I wouldn't put it past Nintendo to actually put out another 3DS because it's making so
I don't
much
think they'd
fucking
roll
money.
the Switch back into it though. Like making a 3DS with Switch capable games would be essentially
Yeah, that's
just
stupid.
making the Switch a half DS with a dock.
Yeah, I agree with
It
that.
would just
So
roll
I
back and
think,
cut back the biggest progress they
I don't,
made.
I don't think it's gonna have any Switch functionality, but I also wouldn't put it past Nintendo to do a new 3DS. You know?
Yeah, well, if we can all agree that it won't have Switch capabilities, then we can actually have the discussion of are they going to come out with another 3DS, which I think is a conversation all by itself. Which probably does anybody think that they'll come out with an upgraded DS of any sort that has Switch capabilities?
No.
It would be the Game Boy Micro all over again. It's like, why is this? Does this exist?
Oh, I'm still mad about that.
So if they did that, it'd be weird. It'd just be like, why did you make this? Because the 2DS should finish it. Like that's how it should go out. The 2DS XL. Okay, you took the 3D out. You streamlined it. You don't have to pay blood money because you lost that lawsuit about 3D. So that's why you made it. That's fine. But to make another, like to use a 7 nanometer design to put Switch games into 3DS, like Brett said, it doesn't make any sense. What they should do is work with NVIDIA and get the next level of Tegra, the X2 Tegra, in there, in an SoC to upgrade the Switch. But looking at the current financials, and then I'll go over this when April 1st when they announce their end of year, their fiscal year. But the 3DS all encompassing has dropped. It was before it was 50% of their revenues coming from 3DS. Now that's dropped to 20%. Right? So Switch is now 60, almost 70% of their revenues coming from the Switch. And they have other things going on, probably licensing and stuff. But yeah, so that it is dropping its relevance is dropping to them. So I don't see them investing in it anymore. I think they'll make colors and shells, whatever's cheap, stickers, but that's it.
Can I offer an alternative?
Yeah, but before that, just a little bit of clarification. When he said 7 nm, he was talking about nanometers. I'm the stupid one, didn't understand that. Anyway, go ahead, Brett.
I think you want to look at this in terms of simplicity. Let's Occam's razor this shit for a second. So, according to you, the Switch isn't a truly portable system. I understand that its battery life doesn't allow you to play and be on the go all day or play for multiple sessions without having to recharge. So you're advising a complete overhaul of the system. I recommend, or at least what I not advocate, but what I think would happen is Nintendo has a long history of loving to sell us accessories. And so if your only problem is the battery life of the Switch keeps it from being a portable system, why would Nintendo not jump at the chance to sell you an extended battery pack or an accessory that increases, some kind of on-the-go dock where you just slip it into the, out of its home dock into this other thing that has, like extra grips on the side, and extra battery on the back or something like that. It charges your Joy-Cons on the go. And they can charge you $70-$80 for it. And for the most part, you'll pay for it because it's cheaper than buying another 3DS. So I would, and before you go off and say, well, I don't think Nintendo would make you buy a wholly unnecessary product in order for their machine to work as advertised, I would remind you all that we played through the dark days of having the Game Boy little fucking light thing. So, yes, they have, and they probably will again. So instead of this big overhaul, they could just release an overpriced accessory that puts way more money in their pocket than it costs to produce. Why would they not do that? Anybody?
Throw down crickets.
Oh. Oh, I thought you were making a statement. I didn't think you were asking.
Well, no, it's kind of like, I'm challenging. I'm challenging anybody to tell me why I'm wrong in this because Nintendo loves selling you accessories. They love selling you overpriced bullshit. They love selling you things that probably should have been included to make their product work the way that it should have in the beginning. But they want to, they make you pay for quality of life. That's kind of always been Nintendo's thing. Tchotchkes and quality of life stuff going to cost you more. You don't want your hands to hurt when you're playing the Game Boy? That's fine. We can sell you an accessory for that. That's Nintendo's MO.
They're charging people $80 for cardboard now, so you're absolutely right.
That's whatever it is hitting his microphone.
Maybe. I'm also walking around. Hold on 1 second. Here, is that any better? Do you hear it now? It might just honestly be the creaking of my headset. I have a. That's weird. I changed literally nothing. This headset is not so good. I'm sorry, people, for that. This I got a headset. We've talked about this before. It literally can pick up me moving my jaw as a creaking in the headset that transfers somehow to the fucking microphone. If I touch this thing at all, like, you guys can hear that. I'm not anywhere near the microphone right now. I'm touching the crown of my head when I do that. So, yeah, sorry for the weird sounds. Tony, send me a free headset.
Sure. Yeah. Well,
Start a Kickstarter.
Somebody sponsor me. Give me a better headset. This is a perfect opportunity to show how clear and crisp the quality of your headset can be on our Throwdown podcast.
It says, Tony, you're muted. Kristen.
yeah, I fucked up. I forgot to unmute myself. I just said, Brett, there it is. I didn't say anything profound, people. Don't worry about it.
Yo, man, you're profound.
I never say anything profound anyway. That's going to do it for us, man. Thank you for guys for asking us extra questions and stuff. Always appreciated on Throwdown, So that's it. So thank you for watching and listening. Leave us the questions in the comments section of this episode here on YouTube or over on the Coalition. We'll answer them on next week's show. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Follow us on Twitch, Mixer, Twitter, and Facebook at Throwdown Show. Links are located in the description below. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco. Tonight shown by Emilio Lopez.
I'll see you later, guys, and don't cheat.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Peace out.
Brett Murdoch.
See you guys.
Adam Vale.
Have a good week, man.
Friday Night WrestleCast, man. What's up?
Yeah, every Friday Night WrestleCast. It's doing it. 10,000 views. We're doing it.
Oh, shit, man. And Mr. Brian Manjoma.
Life lesson. Remember, light travels faster than sound, which is why people appear bright before they start speaking.
Shit.
Nice.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right, man. We'll see you on Thursday. Later.
Peace out, guys.
This is.